Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome, travelers, to the fringes of reality, where the strange and mysterious meet, and the thin veil between fact and fiction is torn. Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.
Oh, you lovely audience out there. Always right on time. What's up? We'll do it again. You're beautiful. Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier. We got a fun one today, folks. We have a guest for a limited time, but we have a guest that we'll get to in just a second. We're gonna talk about the Cosmic Summit. We're gonna talk about a documentary we just watched that kind of blew my mind a little bit. And then Adam wants to talk about Terrence Howard's appearance on Joe Rogan.
Yes,
because he went in the weeds. It was kind of rad.
I'm still in the weeds, man. I'm broadcasting from the weeds right now.
Hello, Adam Krigler. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I started my daily show again. I had a jam night last Friday. It was beautiful all weekend here. So I did a bunch of landscaping, mowing my lawn. I feel like, sun-kissed. It's just good. Life's good.
You're turning into a dad. You're going to start watching Clark Farm. And
you got the New Balances on. The white New Balances with the almost knee-high socks.
Okay.
As long as he's not wearing those Adidas Crocs.
Almost.
Jeremy
I got to get him.
Do you have some, Garrett?
Oh yeah, you can't.
I've seen
you can't mow without them. It protects the legs.
Oh, I usually just wear pants.
That's what they're for. Gotta let the upper leg.
Have you come
breathe.
down and mow my lawn, Garrett?
Yeah, okay. Garrett, you got to go mow his lawn.
I got 15 million kids, so I've got more mow lawn experience. Is that what we're saying?
Or lawnmower experience?
Lawn
mowing experience.
You don't have the talk experience though. Which
no,
is,
I don't.
That's okay.
Hi, weird how that worked out. My whole life is talking, and I can't do it.
Same here. I can't read.
Oh, hey, me neither. I watched this documentary, and my brain hurts because there's so much math, and because I'm a big dum-dum, I'm like having trouble. I watched it twice. All I got was 3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5.
It's everywhere.
It's important.
It's everywhere, man.
And doubling it's really the octave changes the frequency.
Yeah, how he likened it to sound waves as well, and notes, and kind of how it. Yeah, it's.
By the way, the documentary we're talking about is Megaliths: Forgotten World from Howard Crowhurst, and I found it through Megalithomania. They popped it up on their channel as a trailer.
Very good.
The great Hugh Newman. Hello, X-Ray Girl. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing really well. I liked the documentary. It was very good. I also did watch Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know if we'll even have time for that, but they did something I liked. It.
I liked it way better than last episode.
We've been waiting for it. But anyway,
I know exactly. I'm with you there.
We'll discuss that later in the show.
Yes.
For sure. But I'd like to introduce the man putting on the Cosmic Summit, who was kind enough to invite us, and it's going to be brilliant this year. It was brilliant last year. I think it's going to be better this year. George Howard from Cosmic Tusk. Hello, George.
Hey, how you doing, Gary and gang? Good to see y'all, man. Real pleasure being on.
Welcome, traveler.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
We've got a lot of common interested people in our audiences, so it is wonderful to talk to you, including our speakers are big fans of y'all's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've actually one of them, Luke, lives in he's in my neighborhood. And
that's right. I'd forgotten about that. That's cool, man.
Luke's a good kid. He's an amazing kid.
Yeah, he is. He's an extraordinary person, and he's got a great future. That's kind of what we're doing, is bringing up young bands because we're a new festival, But if you pick the right bands, some of them are going to go platinum, brother. And yeah. And that's Luke.
I love the idea. Like, the conferences have been around forever, right? But they've never leveled up. I think Contact in the Desert, it was a good one for a long time. No dissing. If I could go this year, I would go. It's definitely like the Coachella of UFOs and stuff. But I like yours because it's more focused on ancient civilizations, and you actually bring in. So we have scientists, and then we have independent researchers in the same place, exchanging ideas, which is kind of what it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Get to the truth.
Man. Thank you.
So-
Yeah, we just had another scientist come in, and I'm going to try to fit him in somewhere. PhD rocket scientist, member of the Comet Research Group, Dr. Malcolm LeCompte is going to be in the audience. I don't know if he wants to participate, but he's going to have a good time talking with people. So another distinguished PhD that's well published in peer-reviewed journals that shares our heretical ideas.
Right. And again, it's just the truth, and it's going beyond just the younger Dryas, which is what I was going for last year. That's but it's
awesome, buddy.
Really gotten into many different things, including plasmoids. Plasmoids, which has been a hot subject around these parts lately with Malcolm Bendel. But I'm interested in hearing him. He'll be there.
Oh man, I have no idea what to expect, despite having talked with Malcolm for well over 100 hours probably now. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens. And we've also got two related speakers that are kind of independent investigators of Malcolm, though they've become, interested parties and advocates to some degree. And that's Bob Grenier of the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project, who's a longtime cold fusion researcher. And I was a fan. It's neat to get to know him after watching him for 8 years. And Jordan Collin of Alchemical Science. So you're going to have Jordan speak, then Bob speak, and then Malcolm speak, but we're going to have the thunderstorm generator available daylight hours or whatever. Well, I don't know, probably more than that, but for 72 hours, right? We're going to be running that thing off and on the machine that,
cool.
Wait, there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
If it isn't enough of a pain in the ass to have a conference in the first place, I got to go take a mechanical device, a dude from Tasmania, a guy from Czechoslovakia, and a cool cat, Jordan, from Australia, and drag them all to Greensboro, North Carolina.
Nice.
Set them up. But yeah, we're going to have the device there the whole time.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and just go ahead and get it the hell out there, because I went to several, 3 public demonstrations, and I found them all wanting, but that's okay. Some of these things are slapped together at the last moment, and these all had their excuses. But at the back of my head, I was like, I think I could do this thing right. So we have a fabrication room reserved and a transportation room reserved, and they have it's truly a sideshow. So we're going to have 27 speakers over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Then we have a classroom day where you do a deep dive with Randall Carlson, Scott Walter, or Malcolm. But during the whole event, they're going to have the machine in its own auditorium and be doing ad hoc lectures and demonstrations. So people can get up, stretch their legs, walk over and check out the machine, talk to the man himself. Yeah.
Cool.
That is exciting.
Oh, good.
That is
Great,
exciting.
guys.
Well, that
Garrett,
portion.
I want you to be breathing. I want you to breathe it in. I want you to go up, just be like,
all the exhaust.
Oh, yeah. Huff some plasmoids, Garrett. We'll get in there, man.
Yeah.
You gotta get on.
Yeah. Guinea pig. That's okay.
Yeah.
He loves
yeah.
plasmoids.
We'll do a double huff, man.
First hit free, kid.
I've had
First
a
hit free.
skip in my step since August 23 when I first huffed it.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
And I have
a
re-off.
really good drug then.
Yeah.
So for the members of our audience who might not know, why don't you give us a little background on yourself, George?
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about what a plasmoid was.
We can do that next.
I'm easier
Maybe
to
the
explain
same
than a
thing.
plasmoid.
Like bubbles that are pushed together.
Yeah.
Energy
I'm an
spirals.
incoherent structure too, right? That's what they call plasmoids, incoherent structures of ions.
That's what the show is too, by the way.
No, I'm kind of a weird dude, and kind of a nerd. I grew up a nerd, not as much a cultural nerd as y'all are, is just a nerd. And y'all know your movies and all that kind of stuff a lot better than I do, but I feel a relationship with you. And so I grew up a science nerd. And then I went to college, didn't pay much attention. Took me 5.5 years to get out, but I made one good decision. I said, I want to work on Capitol Hill because I'm read the newspaper all the time. I didn't have strong political views, but I was just interested in public policy and things like that. So I worked in the U.S. Senate for 6 years. And then I started and ran a company for 25 years, which I sold 18 months ago. So that's what freed me up to be able to do this. But while I was running said company, Restoration Systems, I kind of had a side gig, and that was satisfying my scientific curiosities. And I became involved with the Comet Research Group very early on, even before it kind of existed. I started with Richard Firestone and an archaeologist named William Topping, interesting character, in 2000. And we, maybe a little bit earlier than that. But yeah, I got to know them. And then a bunch of other PhDs came along in 2005 and published a second paper after the one I kind of helped with them. And they let me join that paper in 2007. So I was able to, as a citizen scientist, join a major peer-reviewed publication. And that was just awesome, man. I mean, I was like, that's great. And I liken it to, I kind of took on the role with these PhDs, and they're, 60, 70 of them, depending on the account, and the papers will have 15 of them at the same time. I've been on several of the papers. But I liken my role to being the ball boy, like for the basketball team.
Yeah.
You get to travel on the bus, all the stats, where the bodies are buried. You know what I mean? But you can't play the game, really.
No.
You know what I mean?
You get a ring.
That's right. You get a ring. Exactly. It's all that. It's the ball boy role, right? And ball boys deserve some respect because they know the damn game, and I know this game. I just can't do math.
No, well, neither can we. You're in the right place.
Yeah, or run technical instruments or something. I'd fuck a lab up quick, man.
Yeah. No, it's good. Independent research is what this is all about. We're big fans of that here. And we'll continue to be. I just so like Cosmic Summit, what made you to bring that together? Because again, if you weren't there last year, it was, what's cool about it is what makes it different than other summits. It was way more accessible. You could actually talk to some of the speakers. They were rolling around. They had tables. Yep. And they fed you. The food was really good. So that part stuck with me too.
Gary, thank you, man. Yeah. And we've got 8 great meals coming. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. No, excuse me. Five meals and then 2 more parties. But yeah, we got great food. I just looked over the final menu last night, and we'll put that out on Twitter. And that does say something. This is good food. I went to one conference of this nature, I won't say which, and I got served a mayonnaise sandwich.
Oh.
2 pieces of bread and some mayonnaise because they didn't have any lunch meats left. And she said, "Do you want some mayonnaise?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, rather than just eating bread.
Yeah.
Put some mayonnaise on it." So I had a mayonnaise sandwich. And
what I really like about the summit is you do have different speakers that have different points of view. It's not just all the same exact view. You'll have somebody come up and say the Younger Dryas was ended by a comet, and then some will say it was the sunburst, and then you'll have multiple viewpoints, and I really appreciate that. And it's in an environment that's not combative. It's not like my point is way better than yours. Don't listen to that guy. It's very brutal. Absolutely, man. I'm glad that comes through. And that is exemplified this year by our new speaker, which is Dr. Robert Schoch, who I imagine a lot of people have heard of. Yeah. And I don't know, early on I heard, if you're going to contact him, he's been picked on by a lot of the Younger Dryas people, and there's some bad blood with certain prominent individuals. I said, well, the first thing I'm going to do is make clear I've just never shared that. I mean, we don't know enough about this stuff to really pick sides as long as you're on the extraordinary side. I do think that any reasonable person should realize that something extraordinary happened.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the one point about this. We can argue all day if it's comet or sun.
That's right.
Like it something happened.
Yeah.
Something bad happened and it hasn't been talked about.
That's right. So he's actually gonna so we'll probably, I would imagine most people there are comet people. And they will, there's the amazing Malcolm Bindall right there.
Hey, what's up?
Good excuse, skip his call. So Schoch, he's going to wrap it up, and it'll probably be a weekend of comments. And then I look forward to it getting up and saying, I don't see it, Yeah. And that's fun. That's fun stuff. I'll give you another one. We've got a fantastic one of the, I would imagine he's senior archaeologist in the state of North Carolina, Dr. Randy Daniel of East Carolina University, who's a Paleo Indian expert and a member of the Comet Research team. And as he puts it, he is a conservative mainstream archaeologist, period. Okay. And he was a little bit hesitant when I asked him, and we were friends and whatnot, but he just says, well, basically, how much intellectual freedom do I have? Can I get up there and call bullshit? And I was like, oh my God, I hope you did. I mean,
Yeah.
get up, because that just gives the conference more credibility that we're not trying to push a particular viewpoint, but to explore a subject set.
Yeah.
And where he would diverge is he doesn't believe that there was a precursor civilization that his colleagues have managed to not discover for 100 years, that there was an Atlantis. So I told him, listen, get up there and the first thing out of your mouth is say, hey, these people are nice as hell. I enjoy talking with them in the green room. I'm learning stuff with them, but I don't think there was an Atlantis. I mean, who's going to take that hard in the audience? I mean, but I do believe there was a catastrophe. That's the important thing, right? So I consider it kind of a two-part story, one being on its way to be proven and one still quite speculative, and that's catastrophe and precursor civilization.
Yeah, I believe independently, those are fascinating. Like, I believe there was an Atlantis, but like independently, these are still fascinating subjects. Atlantis or not, what was the catastrophe?
That's right.
And more importantly, like, as we, I don't want to get too, as we concern ourselves with other things about the environment, wouldn't it be more prudent to maybe worry about big rocks from space falling on us? We had one fly over.
Yep.
What was it? What country? We had the video from
Portugal.
Portugal.
Portugal. Was
Was there one just recently?
right?
Yeah.
Last
like
night.
yesterday.
Last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to pull up the video,
Yeah,
we
let me
can
go
show
get
it. It's it was big.
Yeah. Did anybody hear a boom? That's when I put them in a special category, because you
I
can have a
don't-
big bowl light of it. I like to hear, it was cool if they say they heard it.
If they heard it, and
Yeah.
I don't think so, but like
Yeah.
what it shows you is how easily there could be an airburst, and
Yeah.
airbursts are just as dangerous, and I think far more frequent. And
Hey, Gary, you getting it, man? Yeah.
well, like Randall said on Joe Rogan in 2013, I watched the one in Russia, and that
Yeah.
like completely woke me up to it. It's not something I even thought about, but now in the back of my head, if I see one of those and it's
Wow.
above my house and I see it,
Wow.
burn, I know how much time I have to get away from
Wow.
a window. Right?
That is a good one. And I've watched a lot of these. That's a good one. Holy shit. So what time of the year is it? Middle of May? Have to see.
Yeah, so where we are in the
See where we are in things.
with the turret stream.
That's
but,
right. But you're right. The airbursts are kind of the silent ghosts of our past that have horrified and traumatized us, but left very little trace. Where when we first came across the idea, and it was more than controversial, it was completely heretical, the idea that rocks would come from space, all the way through even the 19th century. In fact, into the 1930s, it was not accepted that there was crater evidence for impacts. And it's just something that we resist in almost a pathological cultural manner. It's just very hard for people to digest that. So despite the obvious evidence that craters were caused, from above, it was controversial well into the 30s. And what we're seeing now, and of course, all that's been accepted. And what we're now getting to is kind of a finer resolution. Literally, we're getting down and seeing okay, well, what about the next class of objects that doesn't make it to the ground, but ain't a shooting star? Well, it turns out that class of objects is absolutely horrifying, and they would leave virtually no evidence in just a couple of decades.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
It's microscopic evidence,
and it's caused them to go through history. Here's another one.
Wow. Is that
Yeah,
Peru
Same
Trip?
one.
Okay.
It's the same one. Yeah.
Same one.
Huh.
Look how bright that got for that second there.
Huh. Well, they're going to find a lot of fragments from that one. That's well recorded, and it's low and all that. And somebody knows right where that is.
So
And
bright.
if something like that pops right above a city, it's disastrous. And again, as I was saying earlier, I had no idea. Like we see the delay, and it wasn't the meteorite; it was the delay in the explosion in the Russian one, where it's like a good 30 seconds to a minute, and then it just blows the shit out of everything.
It's a horrifying clap.
Yes.
Of cosmic thunder, that when you watch that video on YouTube, you're right. It's like one of those jump scare videos, right? You watch it, it goes by, you're kind of, getting ready to leave the video, and then boom,
Yep.
It's weird. Here's a piece from one that came
Oh, wow. Look at that.
That's so cool.
1947.
That's a big chunk.
Where'd that one land?
Beautiful.
Schoch Aline fall in 1947. So not
That is really
Tunguska.
cool.
Yeah. In fact, look at this. It's got a little sphere. Whoa. This is reverse. So I can, okay. A little spherual to be. See that little
Nice.
nub?
Yeah.
See, it's just on its way
Oh,
to
yeah.
breaking into a droplet, but then froze.
Whoa. They have that at Meteor Crater.
yeah,
it's
I
not
want
the
it.
one that landed at Meteor Crater, but they have a big one, like a giant one there that you can touch. It's pretty amazing.
It's a fragment, I think, of the original one. That thing, a lot of it vaporized, but
a lot of it did. Yeah, I wasn't sure
you
if they
can still
found
find
anything
Canyon Diablo meteorites. You can go buy one right now if you type Canyon Diablo meteorites. Thing about these falls, you can get them more affordably while they're still being found at the fall site, because it can take a decade or two for everybody to find every fragment. So, but then when they stop finding them, they shoot up in price. And I've had that happen twice. I've got a big 35-pound one from Argentina in there that when I bought it just a few years ago, they were still collecting pieces. And as soon as it kind of just dried up, it got very valuable. But that's a collector's stuff. That's not science. But yeah, airbursts are absolutely horrifying. And you just wouldn't know, just as Tunguska, if there was one 300-400 years before that, and surely there were, they were just reported mythologically. And then we would say, oh, that's just a campfire story. They're talking about their gods fighting in the skies like they always do. Boy, those were some bored people around that campfire. Bullshit.
Yeah. And to see so many snakes in so many different parts of the world through the sky. Yeah.
From the Welsh flag to Japan. Snakes. And none of that, a dragon, what's a dragon? But a fiery serpentine thing in the sky with a flaming mouth, which we just saw a picture of. Because actually, if it's daytime and you can see it, and you go see that streak of a big bolide like that, the smoke from it, and that happened in Chelyabinsk too, lingers sometimes for hours, and it obviously becomes wavy in the atmosphere, and it looks like a giant snake in the sky. That's exactly how a fiery snake came in with a flaming mouth. Boom.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody in the world would share that. Very good. That's right, Garrett.
And
y'all are up on this stuff.
We try. We're still like we're
learning,
there, right?
So am I.
We're about a year into the show. I mean, like I've done this. It's been a hobby, just a hobby for 20 years, just jumping around UFOs and ancient civilizations from listening to Art Bell and stuff. But a lot of stuff caught through osmosis. But now I'm like kind of diving into the real research, getting older books to read that aren't so sanitized. Velikovsky, I never read that. Reading it now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
Dr. V, man, he took it on the chin. He was, how popular he was? I was telling my admin for the Cosmic Summit, Stephanie, about it, who's a big fan of y'all's. Hey, Stephanie. And she is an angel. I can't wait to introduce you to her. She's in Scotland and works very, very hard on this event. But I was telling Stephanie, she wasn't really aware of Velikovsky. And when we started talking to him, I said, really, the important thing for us is Velikovsky was the 20th century's most prominent catastrophist. And I label myself that way as well. People can probably figure out what that means. And he was a brilliant psychologist and scholar, and wasn't a geophysical researcher, but obviously had the gray matter to handle that stuff. But he looked at it from a mythological perspective, et cetera. And in the 50s and the 60s, it was incredible how popular he was. That this old goat with a heavy Eastern European accent that was like a old man and probably had little natural appeal to hippies, he captivated audiences in colleges all over the country. There was a big catastrophism movement. And then Carl Sagan took him down in public and shamed him and misrepresented him. And subsequent to that, evidence, beginning in 1980 with the Comet Dinosaur debate started emerging that, these things are certainly possible. It's just a matter of timing. So so they crushed him, and the catastrophism kind of died. I wouldn't say it died out, but it was much, much diminished for a couple of decades, and I think it's coming back. It seems to wax and wane through the centuries.
Well, the more data they find, right?
That's right.
Our pal Randall out there going over the scab lands, and they're just finding evidence everywhere, and it feels like the field's opened up in the last 8 to 10 years, thanks to the Comet Research Group. Just opening up that debate to where, yes, there were Robert Schoch and Graham were all talking about this a long time ago, but it's reached the zeitgeist again because they found more data. And that's why this is a far more interesting subject than the quote unquote, any woo woo. Cause like we're really approaching very real things. Like it shouldn't be woo woo that a giant catastrophe happened
Right.
They happen all the time. And again, it's something that we should probably be prepared for more. I know Randall talks about this a ton. It's like we should be mining asteroids. We should be mapping. I know they are, but we should be finding ways to deflect them. It might be impossible, but you don't know if you don't try. And if we're wasting a bunch of money on other things, which I can't say on YouTube, it's not going to make a shit bit of difference if you're driving around your electric car and a giant rock kills us all.
That's
Tunguska
right.
was like recent, was extremely recent in the timeline, relatively, and to have that happen would be catastrophic.
Garrett, I'll tell you one little, I guess, analogy that I like to make is if you take because people, if you talk about something over 10,000 years ago, it's immediately just long ago. And they throw it all in the same basket. But you think about the comet dinosaur extinction, right? And that science, which is well proven and taught in schools and whatnot. That was 65 million years ago. And the Younger Dryas event was 13,000 years ago. If you put a timeline from Barstow, California at the other end of I-40, where I am, right? It's about, I don't know, 3,200 miles or something like that. But and then divided it, the represented, say that the other end was the comet dinosaur event, and over here is current times, right where I'm sitting. Then the Younger Dryas event would have been at the Circle K, about 5 blocks that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's 1/5000th of the timeline, right? That's how close it is. That is, I guess, for my metaphor and otherwise, in our neighborhood, man. That's worth paying attention to.
Yeah,
Facts.
absolutely.
And one of our biggest critics dismisses it partially on the basis, he dismisses it for many bad reasons, but Mark Boslow will make the case that it's just unlikely in the course of events that something would have happened so recently to our own ability to discover it. I flip that on its back and say, well, hell, maybe our ability to discover it is actually born from the event itself.
Yes.
Right? It's what made us turn into what I call the naked ape with the black mirror, which I got from somebody else. But, the technological civilization we live in and the formation of cities beginning 8,000 and 9,000 years ago and all of that, domestication of animals and the beginning of crop farming, that began that day. And I heard that best from one of our keynote last year, Dr. Andrew Moore, who's the recent outgoing president of the American Archeological Association, the largest archae association in the world. Pretty mainstream guy, too. They all say, a bunch of kooks. Well, he's not a kook. He's actually the leader of archaeology. But the Younger Dryas team went to him, and he had discovered the earliest agriculture in 1972 at a site called Abu Huraira. And that's his signature discovery. And he spent the last 50 years studying it, right? And it's the first sign of agriculture. And even ChatGPT will tell you that he was the guy. And then the Comet Research Group came to him and said, we'd like to test the soils in that were taken from the site and see if there are any impact proxies in them. And indeed there were. And they took the data to Dr. Moore, who was, in his late 70s, and said, take a look at this. And instead of rejecting it, he modified his own hypothesis after 50 years. Cool. And said that what he thought was campfires was actually a destruction layer. And things he couldn't figure out, like melted green glass on animal bones and stuff. He then was able to, it turns out it was 3000 C there for a flash.
That's true science right there.
Yeah, exactly, buddy. If there could be more Andrew Moores, but here's the unfortunate thing, Adam, is that you do find these guys. And when you find them, the good ones obviously are very well respected in their fields. But what it turns out is they all got to be emeritus first. They've got to, like the Comet Research Group, the original core group, are all in their very late 70s or 80s. And some of them have passed now. And that's very unfortunate. But what happened when we published the paper in 2007, they were in their intellectual prime. In other words, they'd finished up their careers. They were emeritus and whatnot of their various institutions. And they had the time and credibility to indulge their own explorations that might not be in keeping with the current grant-making process, right? And so it's funny. You got to either get really young people that are open-minded or really older people who who've got the time on their hands and their credibility to support getting into something weird.
Mm.
Yeah, and more young people. But I definitely think that in this field that's happening. Like they're bringing in more young people.
That's right.
And we're gonna have what I want to talk about real quick because I heard it
Yeah,
on
man.
the podcast was the Jordanian impact.
Tal al-Hammam.
Yeah, that one's so to set it up. Well, you can explain it much better than me.
Go ahead.
But you know, people are what you just said. They're looking at things differently now, and you know, the Iron Age. We think we know how it ended, but we're not sure. The Dark Ages. We think we know how it started, but we're not sure. So talk to me about this. I'll just say the Jordanian impact. I won't.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's one of those awkward terms until you don't have to say it a few times. But it's Tal el-Hammam, and that word can be spelled either tall, like T-A-L-L, or tell, T-E-L-L. And some people will try to correct you and say, oh, it's tell. And now you say, no, it's actually tall when you're in Jordan, and it's tell when you're in Israel. But tell, L-E-L, and then dash Hammam, H-A-M-M-A-N. And that paper was one of two divergences that the Comet Research Group very carefully considered and made from the study of the Younger Dryas event. Because, you need to stick to your knitting, stay focused on this stuff. You got limited time and limited resources, so you can't do it all or anything close. You got to be very picky if you're going to leave that central subject of the Ice Age catastrophe. But they have diverged twice. One was to study the Alaskan mucks, where John Reeves of Rogan fame now found all of his animal parts.
Legend.
And
Love that guy.
And that's a great paper, little seen, but that can be found out there for the Comet Research Group. And we provided all the same evidence we provided, but for 30, roughly 25 to 30,000 year ago impact. But to your point, the other one, which was a much deeper investigation, was to Tal al-Hammam. And I had the good fortune to introduce the subject to the Comet Research Group. I was called by a catastrophist friend, and actually a Velikovskian. I can say that, and people will nod. So he was an old Velikovskian from those days in the 60s when he was super popular, and probably certainly a young man at the time. And now he's older, and his name's Mr. Philip Clapham. And I just picture Phil. I've never met him, but with the leather patches on his tweed coat. He lives in London and kind of erudite. Everything I can see. I've never met him in person, but he calls me and he says, "George, I'm in touch with a biblical archaeology group in the Jordan Valley who believe they've identified a burn layer that indicates their site is Sodom. Could the Comet Research Group possibly provide forensic assistance to them? They're fine archaeologists, but they don't have the tools that you have." I said, "Man, am I in some kind of fucked up movie or something, man? What do you mean? Biblical archaeologists in the Jordan Valley and finding Sodom." I said, "I'm in, man."
Yeah.
And
you can almost hear the music swelling at that moment.
Yeah. And so I contact the Comet Research Group, and which I've done many times on other people's behalf, because people send us black mats all over the place, which is wonderful, but there's just no way you can go study all the sites. So I figured they said, well, no way we'd study something in Jordan. And they said, yeah, we talked about it. I mean, they carefully considered it, and they knew the stakes because it has religious implications, and that's just picking another fight. If we don't have enough already. And they said, yeah, we would like to investigate it, and you go first. And I was already expecting to. And I went over there in 2014 and did about half the time digging and about half the time walkabout in the Jordan Valley looking for evidence and strata and stuff like that. And then I went the second year. Well, then we shipped a whole bunch of stuff back, and they went through it with the microscopes and the geochemistry analyzers and all of that kind of stuff. And they said, this looks very promising. So the next year I came back with an MD and 2 PhDs, a rocket scientist, Dr. LeCompte, an archaeologist here in North Carolina, and an MD, because there were kind of some medical questions. So we went over there, and they even came back, I think, another 2 years. So we spent, 2 to 4 years studying this thing, then 6 years writing the paper that you have kindly brought up to the screen, because a lot of work went into that thing, man. 6 years of going through that data and trying to figure out what happened. And then there was a wonderful, unexpected payoff. I remember when Dr. Alan West, who's one of the leading lights of the CRG, he said the paper's ready to submit. We're gonna, toss it over into Nature and see what happens. I said, "Oh, come on, Alan. Nature ain't gonna publish it. It says Genesis in the abstract. That's verboten. And he said, "Yeah, I know. I said, "Well, what odds do you give it?" And he said, "About 20%. I said, "Well, if it's 20% chance to get in, how long do you think it would take before you fight your way through the reviewers, which will clearly be hostile, as they always are?" And he said, "Well, we would probably give up after 18 months, but we'll give it somewhere around a year, 18 months or something like that." And damn, if the thing didn't turn around and was published within like 2 or 3 months. Somehow we got the proper reviewers. They respected the nature of the paper, which is so self-evident that it was very, very comprehensive. And it was published in Nature. And then there was an uproar from,
Of course.
from the godless left. And which is fine. If you're godless, it's fine with me. Just
It's
don't be
expected.
left. You can't be both.
Yeah.
Right. So it was kind of the woke archaeology crowd, and they were tremendously offended that the word Genesis and suspicions about the truth of the book may have made it into their journal, I suppose. And they are still calling for its retraction.
Wow.
But it's there, and it's the most downloaded paper on Nature, or at least was last time I checked. And depending on how you look at it, it's one of the most popular modern scientific papers ever published, because there are some big constituencies that would be curious about it. I think
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the faithful go and read it. They say, "Oh my gosh, there's something in Nature that actually, lends some veracity to the Bible." And then I think the natural opponents of it all go read it. Right. So you end up with a lot of buzz on it. And it actually made it into the final Jeopardy question, which was just
Cool.
shocked
That's when
us,
you know you made it.
Yeah, that's right. What a great cultural totem there. And the question was something along the lines of a scientific expedition went to the Jordan Valley and published a paper in Nature in 2021 that claimed the potential discovery of this biblical city. Final Jeopardy, man. And some guy called it Sodom, and won. So it's fun to have that kind of success, because a lot of these things are trees in the forest that fall with no one to hear. Yeah.
Evidence of high temperature burning of the city. These are just the sections. Melted construction materials, high pressure shock, metamorphism. I did it. High temperature melted minerals, human bones in the destruction layer. And there's a destruction layer, by the way. So this place got wiped out.
Yeah,
And
that was kind of that they were able to identify. That's what caused the archaeologist, to eventually get in touch with us, was that they were indeed looking for Sodom. And I can tell that whole story if you want to hear it, because I think they did it very, very responsibly. And I do not think that their faith has affected the quality of their science. In fact, I believe that it improves it, because they have to be so careful, right?
Well, yes,
they're backing up their beliefs. Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
exactly.
sides, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough place to be a biblical archaeologist. And Dr. Steve Collins, who is the dig director, is up to the job. He's both a wonderful scholar, a brave man, doesn't let people get to him, and takes a lot of grief very graciously. Well, not graciously, but classy.
Classy,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, he's a classy guy. He doesn't get in the mud. But he had kind of reverse engineered the geographical clues in the Bible, and as a archaeologist in Israel, and said it's got to be over there. It's got to be on the east bank of the Jordan, across from Jericho, north of the Dead Sea, in the deltaic kind of region of the bottom of the Jordan River before it goes in the Dead Sea. And they call that the Kakar. And he does a wonderful job explaining how their references to the Kakar could describe no other place but north of the Dead Sea. And my favorite also, though, is the Bible says that the land where Lot took his sheep and parted from Abraham was well watered, as in Egypt. Well, an interesting sidebar on this stuff is that the first people to object to the paper, the toughest people that he has to convince, are Christians themselves. You would not think that, would you? That Christianity Today editorialized against the study. And that,
I
yeah.
could see that.
I could see
Actually,
it.
I mean,
I could see it.
Yeah, they can't take a win. It's a classic
I know.
example of
Yep.
can't take a win. And it happens all the time. You know, if you're not on the right part of whatever stream you're supposed to be in, it ain't going to be good enough. And it's driven by two things. One is there was a early 20th century, 1920s, particularly archaeologists that had a tremendous amount of influence, biblical archaeologists. He was these starch collar Baptist types, I suppose, you know, out in Kansas. And he would make expeditions and report back to the faithful in his findings. His name was, I've messed it up before, but F.W. or A.W. Albright. And he would report back that, you know, I have traveled the lands and I found this and that and whatnot. Well, he became convinced personally that it was south of the Dead Sea. And for what I think are some poor reasons, and said that he had found it, and it was at Baba Dra and another site, and that stuck in about 3 generations' head. That Christian faithful apologists were raised to believe that Dr. Albright found it for us years ago. It's south of the Dead Sea. We've been arguing this for years. And then Collins comes along and goes, hell no, it didn't. And one of the reasons is, he says, well watered. The Bible says it's well watered as in Egypt. Well, hell, you go south of the Dead Sea. It's one of the most forbidding deserts on planet Earth. It's the Negev and the Sinai. No one's going to take their sheep down there. You don't raise sheep in the Sinai desert. But north of the Dead Sea is a lush Eden in its natural state. It's absolutely beautiful. It's well watered, and it has a delta that goes into the Dead Sea, just as the Nile goes into the Mediterranean. And those people frequented both of those geographies, and they were describing the top of the Dead Sea as being likened to the southern Mediterranean with the Nile coming into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So don't get too far into the grass there, but it's a fascinating story, and thanks for asking about it, Gary. And it's still live. You know, like I say, they're trying to get the paper retracted. We probably need to get back over there again. And I hope that we'll have the resources in coming years to investigate some more of these impacts between us and the Younger Dryas, because there are probably 4 or 5 large culture changing events.
Yes, and
Wow.
it's that circumstantial evidence again that, well, if it can happen here, then it happened before. And look into the evidence on that. When you get into the evidence on that paper, those of you in the audience, it's mind blowing. Like what happened to those people, and some of the not just the proxies, just what happened to the bones and how and how hot it got. It's pretty insane. Yeah, it couldn't have been an earthquake. It couldn't have been a fire. It couldn't have been anything. It had to be airburst.
It was a bad day in the Holy Land, man.
Bad day.
Mm-hmm. And then it
bad
was
day.
700 years. It went sterile with salt. That it's salty as shit for 700 years.
Salted the earth.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's inhabited before that. So this was 1,700 BC, 3,700 years ago, is where you find that layer. And then before that layer, Tel El-Amam is inhabited for another 8,000 years back, just like Jericho. It's Mirror City. It's the mirror to Jericho. And it went totally saline and sterile and no sign of people, all that stuff for 700 years. And then its second act was the end of the Exodus. Moses, that was his last campsite. And even that is like a common cultural thing in that area, that Tel El-Amam had never been suggested as Sodom, but it had long been on the tourist maps and all of that stuff, even though it was a minefield. So that's why it had never been investigated archaeologically. So Collins, which is a little weird when you're over there digging, man. You're like, are you sure you got all these mines?
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, who is going to run up on a mine faster than an archaeologist or the jackass that's doing walkabouts like me, around the site? Yeah. And
oops.
Oops. So it was a minefield. It was actually a gun emplacement, because you can see Israel right there. Israel's 6 miles away and Jericho's 12, and you can see Jerusalem over there. And then behind you, though, is Mount Nebo in the big Christian church. What am I trying to say? But, big Christian site. God, trying to say something other than church. But up on the mountain behind you, that is the supposed place where he looked upon the promised land. So he was looking out on that beautiful, verdant, green valley that is still farmed. It's still all farms north of the Dead Sea, because they have the water from the Jordan River. So he looked out on that, and then obviously he didn't enter into the land. but that is well regarded as the last campsite of the Israelites. When they sent the spies into Jericho, and 10 years ago, I wouldn't even know what that meant, but when they sent the spies into Jericho, that's where they would have launched them, right? So the Ark of the Covenant sat on Tal Halamam, if it be true, and that's a hell of a second act, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you're Sodom and when you go over there and you're digging, some people probably go the whole trip and never even hear that. They don't even much talk about it. I'm like, hold on, can we hear some more about this ark being up here? That's pretty damn cool. I know we're all obsessed with Sodom, but you know, so I did a little ark hunting. I went up there and kind of poked around Mount Nebo, went in some caves, see if I could get lucky, but I didn't find it.
Well, that's
Next
good.
time.
I mean,
cool if
I
you
heard
did.
if they find the ark again, that's not probably, we're close to the end.
Don't open it.
Yeah,
One of the
just
speakers at the
don't-
summit, Tim Hogan, you know, who is the world's lead Templar, the master Templar
Yep.
in the world, will be at the summit. And I just had a little interview with him. And, you know, he's got a half dozen arcs that he and Scott Walter and their team are going to be showing to the public over the next year or two.
Awesome.
Right. And there are these boxes that they say contain things that indicate it's an extraordinarily sacred container, and that they have been secreted by their order for thousands of years. And they're also, and this is, people justifiably probably say Templars, well, why does this mix into the Atlantis catastrophe conference, you know? And it's a very natural link. The temple, even Freemasons, and I asked him this in the interview, I was like, so if you went and looked at a Freemason ceremony, could you derive out of that there was an Atlantis? And he said, not necessarily directly, unless you understand the whole picture of their studies, but indirectly, that's the whole point. They're communicating the ancient Gnostic understandings of the past in Freemasonry, right? It's the understandings from Atlantis that have been held all these years so that we could recreate a proper society. And they maintain that America, founded by Freemasons, was an attempt at that, to bring enlightened, liberal, little L liberal government to man. And that's a fascinating story, and it kind of holds up. These guys know what they're talking about. Now, it's obscure, and it's kind of funny. We kind of missed that, you know, in American history, they didn't teach me that it was the recreation of Atlantis, but there's a pretty good intellectual thread that indicates that's exactly what's going on.
Well, they've skipped a lot of stuff, so I can.
Yeah, they have skipped a lot of
and
stuff.
that's Randall explains it too with the sacred geometry, which I can't entirely get my head around because I've been kicked out of 3 high schools, but it's fascinating, and those are very long live streams, and there's a lot of them out there, and he doesn't even own some of them anymore. Some guy is like,
yeah,
you know, like
jackass, yeah,
what an asshole.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, before you go,
yeah, man.
plasmoids, go.
Oh, plasmoids. See, that's another breaking news, and I kind of like having Malcolm there too for several reasons. Again, like Scott Walter and them, right off the bat, you say, well, what are you doing having kind of a breakthrough technology part of this, you know? It's kind of like when you talk to Scott and Tim and say, why do you belong here? They'd say, well, because we believe there was an Atlantis and always have. And why would Malcolm belong there? Because he believes his technology is the rediscovery, reinvention, remanifestation of the profound understandings of the ancients about what now we would call plasmoid technology, that the ancients had this, and it helps explain some of the more mysterious aspects of our past. For instance, the Vajra, the Indian Vajra, Shiva always has his weapon, right? And it's described as, you know, having all sorts of wild properties, and it's always seemed kind of strange in that why would they go to centralize a technology is what they're describing. And he holds a thing, you know, and you can see it's, they all look somewhat similar. And they all look somewhat similar to one configuration of some important components of the thunderstorm generator or other versions of it, where you have a quadrature spark plug, and there are generally 4 things at the top of the Vajra. So it would be Shiva's Vajra, it would be Poseidon's trident, it would be Zeus's thunderbolt, and on and on and on. They
Thor's
all
hammer.
Thor's
just keep
hammer.
going.
Thank you, Garrett. That's right. And you're like, damn, you know, it's kind of like I was about the whole 13,000 year catastrophe when I realized that, well, maybe there were gods fighting in the skies, or you can see that they weren't campfire stories. They weren't just bullshit, that it was based on something. And that idea that the leaders had control of a wonderful lost technology is now potentially coming back with Malcolm Bendall. So we're going to have the thunderstorm generator, which is, it's really kind of a toy relative to what Malcolm appears to be able to do and claims to be able to do. It's a wonderful 2-hour podcast on alchemical science with Jordan Collin from last week, where they go and explain where this is going. And they show a 3D rendering and break apart, very expensive production, you know, graphics thing, showing Malcolm's now patented implosive turbine, which will take us much more quickly to space than we've ever been, and will solve most of our technology, our transportation problems, right?
Is he talking about that at the summit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he will talk about it, but see, that's where it gets weird. Malcolm's got all this stuff in his head, right? He's taken the technology and designed all these things like Tesla did. He can kind of see in 3D, it appears, you know, in his head. And then the thunderstorm generator is what you do when you just don't have the funds and the R&D and the fabrication, you know, resources to go out and build your other things. It's like, this is kind of the case, according to Malcolm. He actually said that a 3-letter agency is inspired him to do it. Hey, is that Jordan? Is that from Jordan?
Yes, this is that video.
Yeah, beautiful, brother. Thank you.
We talked about this last week, was it? When it came out, right?
Oh, y'all
2 weeks
did?
ago, yeah.
Man,
we talked about this a little bit.
Wow, y'all got good radar, man. You're on it. Okay.
He breaks it down really well.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I hate to retread some of this ground for
absolutely.
For your listeners.
Please do.
Yeah,
I love it.
But so maybe in 2025 or 2032, we'll have an implosive turbine. But what it is, Malcolm says that he was challenged by a government agency that he kind of owed a favor and whatnot. They've been trading favors. They said, Malcolm, make us we want a internal combustion engine that doesn't pollute. He said, but mate, I can take you to the stalls. I can give you, you know, access to other dimensions. We can travel time. You know, we have all this. And they said, no, Malcolm, make us an engine that doesn't pollute. But mate, please, you know what? And they said, Malcolm, shut the hell up. Give us an engine that doesn't pollute. We'll pay for the gas. We don't care whether we're not looking for a perpetual motion machine or any of that shit. Just seems to me for submarines and that kind of stuff. There are a lot of military reasons you would want an engine that doesn't pollute. Yeah, that's a good picture there. So what he did was invent this system. And another benefit of it is it's like if you told somebody that has his knowledge and said, take $1,500 and do some magic for me with $1,500, right? And just dumb it all down, use the simplest implementation you can to show us that there's some magic in your physics. And that's that damn power washer motor is what it is. I mean, power washer engine. I mean, you could buy one at Lowe's, right? And for $800, then you buy another $600 worth of parts, and you're in business to make a thunderstorm generator. Although there is the central piece, the thunderstorm generator, which is basically looks like a long tube with 2 spears on each end, and that has to be specially welded and have some treatments to it and whatnot. And it's a, you know, almost aerospace grade weld, but it doesn't even have any moving parts or electronics or anything. So it's cheap. The metal's cheap. You just got to have a good welder and a annealer and all of that kind of stuff, right? So you can't do that instantly. You can't go down to Lowe's. You could get the parts for it and the metal and all that. Although the spheres you got to order specially. So what our gig has been in Albuquerque, New Mexico last August, and then Zurich, Switzerland in October, and then India in December, we went and bought the parts locally and then brought in the thunderstorm generator piece, and you put it together and then you demo it. But when you buy the parts locally and put it together at a hotel in Abbottabad, India, it's a fucking shit show. I mean, we didn't have all the right parts. We had to go on these just crazed scavenger hunts, man, through a city of 9 million people into the it was just actually telling. You know, when you go on a scavenger hunt, you see things you wouldn't see on the tourist trip, right?
Oh, in India?
Yeah,
I
when you're
bet.
trying to
I'd
buy a
imagine.
certain gauge of
Yeah.
wire, you know, and you go and it's so weird. You know, one street will be the light bulb street, and one will be the wire street, and the other one will be the phone street.
There's no
Strange how they
Best
organize
Buy.
things. So yeah, and you gather it all together, you put it together, and then you show it off. Well, I told them this year, I said, I ain't doing that shit, Green. I don't have time to do it. I don't want anybody else to have to go through that shit. Y'all have your shit together, okay? And he gave me 2 of them. He said, we'll get you ahead of the game. So I got 2 thunderstorm generators, and I had I had the engine actually stored in a secret laboratory here in North Carolina where a very capable company was testing it. And so I went and got that engine and put the new generator on it. And that I've already seen it work, is what I'm trying to say. It's already built. It's working. It's about 2 miles from me in the 420 club is what we call it. It's storage unit 420. It's damn nice storage unit.
Different
Nice.
420 chat.
Yeah, they checked this in and
It's
said, you
good
got room 420. I said, well, that's appropriate.
Yeah.
So I kind of all I got to do now is figure out how to get it to Greensboro and that kind of stuff. But it's a big load off my shoulders to know that it works, and it's gonna be fun as hell. Malcolm is gonna blow y'all's mind, man. And there's so many people that have gotten to know him, you know, through the internet, just like y'all have. And he's such a personable guy in his own way. And it's going to be fun to see people that have just been watching this crazy show for 18 months go and hear from him in person. You know, he's one of those people you want other people to experience talking to the dude, you know? And
that was a great hook. When I found out he was going, like, you have an amazing lineup, by the way, this year.
Yeah,
So,
thank you,
well
brother.
done.
Ben
Well
Van
done.
Kirkwick. Yeah. Johanna James, Scott Walter, Praveen Mohan. And I tell you, Malcolm was over the moon to have Praveen and to meet him. And we put them on a call the other day, and they hit it off instantly. And Praveen started saying, yes, there's this kind of riser and that. I think it means this. And Malcolm said, oh, yes. And the Sanskrit says that, you know, because Malcolm got all this out of Sanskrit documents firsthand. And if it all be true, who knows? It could all be bullshit. But I tell you, I've checked up on some things with that dude because I'm a very skeptical guy, believe it or not. I like to curate my subjects. I'm open-minded. I want to hear every bit of it, and I'll listen to every bit of it and be interested in it for years while still thinking it's bullshit, for instance. I'm just one of those people. Man, y'all got some of that in you too, right? Okay, so I get into Malcolm. I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in this. We go down to Rogan. They don't show the show. Then I get to know Malcolm on the 5-day car trip me, him, and Randall did, right? I'm like, this guy's the craziest fucker I've ever met in my life, man. And where am I heading with this? Oh, things that prove out. So he was saying one day, I think there were several of us there. He was talking about, you know, the most, I hate to say it, but the most famous thing to ever happen in his home state in Australia, Tasmania, was a terrible tragedy back in the 90s. Horrible, the Port Arthur massacre. And we think that, you know, mass shootings are limited to the U.S. and statistically they certainly lean this way, but there was an awful one in the sleepy little town of Port Arthur, Tasmania. And I think like 35 people were killed, and it was a big manhunt, and not a manhunt, but a standoff. And it was just a horrible, horrible tragedy. And Malcolm brought it up and said, yes, you know, basically said, I don't want to try to use his words, but I ministered to the families and gave the eulogy for the teacher who died. And I remember I gathered him. So he gave some details on the Port Arthur massacre. And I was like, that sounds like bullshit. You know, that's a guy, maybe, who's coming from an oddball part of the world, has all sorts of claims about other shit that he's done in the world. But then he has one in his home state. And that's the most significant thing that ever happened. And he was there through the whole thing with the cops ministering to him on the site and all that kind of stuff. I said, that just him tying something that, so I'm being a nerd. I've got a newspapers.com description. I like to read old newspapers, right? So I went and looked up the old Hobart News or whatever it is, Hobart, Tasmania News, and typed in Port Arthur, Malcolm Bendall. Boom. Pastor Bendall gathers families in church. Pastor Bendall gives eulogy. And I was like, wow, man, he was really there. And I was absolutely convinced it was bullshit. And there have been
in a story. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And there've been several other those. I mean, I'm no private eye, and I may get proven wrong about this stuff, or, you know, find out that Malcolm, you know, eats live chickens or something. I don't know. Maybe he's got a horrible past, but the 2 or 3 articles in the, one of the things that has smeared him, and this is what turned Joe off. And I get why it turned Joe off, because these are commercial claims. They could have implications where your fans go out and invest in some guy's penny stock. Right.
Yep.
And nobody can invest in Bob Lazar directly, but somebody could rip people off with this stuff. And I think they made kind of a knee-jerk decision, but that's okay. They got other things to do, because there were, you know, a handful of articles saying that Malcolm was fast and loose with people's money, and, you know, a 90-year-old man lost $200,000 in an oil investment with him. Well, first of all, damn it, losing money as an investor in the oil business is not a crime. If you're an independent, that is a risky business.
It happens.
It happens. And he even says that old man had invested in a different Empire Energy. And that was part of a whole bullshit. It was a smear from one of the big major oil companies of him. So he claims. And a lot of that matches up too. Right. And you'd see the same thing with Terrence Howard last night. I just tweeted on it. That Terrence Howard, if you go look at his history, there are parts of his wiki that you're like, oh, what kind of guy is this?
Fucking genius.
Yeah, a fucking genius. And hey, a genius can be a schmuck too. But I think that Howard, Terrence was being smeared there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A lot of geniuses are weird. They give off that kind of like uncomfortable. It gets a little uncomfortable sometimes, because they're not normal.
That's right.
Because they're
I think he's a threat. I think he's a threat to the establishment.
Yeah.
I think some are on the spectrum. And they socially don't know how to deal when sometimes when you're on genius level, you don't have the interpersonal skills. I mean, I'm telling the audience what they probably already know, and you guys too, but they don't have the interpersonal skills, and they're easy to take advantage of, easy to turn around. And yeah, some of them are behaviorally fucking psychotic. Some of them, not saying Terrence Howard is at all, but it's that level.
No, there's a range of it.
It comes
That's
at
why
a
they call it
price.
the spectrum.
Yeah,
that's why Elon Musk is an asshole sometimes.
Yes.
You know, but
I like
here's the thing, Gary. I'm not socially awkward one bit and very personable. Does that mean I'm a dumbass?
No.
Is it correlated the other way?
No.
You know?
Well, I mean, for me maybe, but
no, I wasn't claiming to be a genius. I just didn't want to be. I don't find I'm not socially awkward, so I guess I'm out of the genius club. We all are, right?
Yes.
Okay, so who's coming to Greensboro? Garrett, you are. Gary, X-Ray, you coming too?
Yes.
Everybody but Adam.
Yeah.
Okay, man, you're
He'll
coming
be
next
there
year,
in
Adam.
spirit.
We'll give you a
That
free
sounds
live
good.
stream too, brother.
Adam
I'll
has
be
a
watching
very
it
good
live.
excuse. Yes.
Okay.
I'll be watching it live.
I'll get you a code for a free stream. And
Thank you,
just
George.
to commercialize our conclusion here, the audience, if they want to come in person, we've got a well-priced ticket now, particularly with a discount. I mean, we're kind of giving it away for 5 meals and all this stuff. And that is the Megafauna Pass for $485. But if you use the promo code Cosmic50, all caps, COSMIC 50, you get another $50 off, for that's $435. And you know that and the hotel rooms are $179 a piece, and they're so it's relatively inexpensive conference. And if you use the promo code Cosmic15, I believe it's now set to give you a $25 discount on the $100 live stream. Okay. And folks, I really encourage people, go out, at least, buy the live stream if this interests you. Okay. Not everybody can pick up, certainly now, just under a month out and come to Greensboro, although some could. But we need to build a community and build an event that allows us to talk about these things with like-minded people once a year. We're not trying to build a cult. We're not trying to build a movement necessarily, but by God, we deserve our festival for our music. And ideas, I think, are like music. And these YouTubers and these folks you see on the banner there, these communicators, they have millions of downloads. They're like a band. Each of them are like bands with millions of downloads and people listening to their music, but they don't have a concert. You can't go see them. you can get mostly everything that you get out of a song by just listening to it without the band there. But for some reason, we still want to go see the band. And why is that? Because you want to be with other Deadheads or Panic fans.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're with your tribe once a year. And that is the same thing happening here, but with ideas. And if I ever do a tagline on some cups and stuff or T-shirts instead of just I'm going to do music. I mean, ideas are like music. Come to our festival.
Yeah, absolutely. No shit. This was something I buy anyway. I'd probably either go or at least watch it. And for just purely entertainment purposes, this is hours of entertainment. This is like absolute hours.
It is. And you'll meet people. You'll meet people that you'll know the rest of your life, and probably meet people that you just knew before as Young Cheese or, Cat Lady 22
Right,
or
like we did
whatever.
last time.
Yeah, and you find out her name's Margaret and she's a nurse, and it adds a little bit more, depth.
Yeah, we met so many people when we went last year. It was really great.
It was cool. And this is evergreen content too. This is stuff you can listen to forever. Like I still listen to parts of the last summit. And I especially Luke's presentation. You see our boy Luke on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
His presentation was so good. So good.
Yeah, that's funny. People will pick different ones and praise them. You can hear praise for this one or that one. It's just great. I think all the songs were fantastic. And guys, I didn't get to spend virtually any time with y'all last year, and I felt a little.
Oh yeah,
I was
busy.
busy. Well, listen, nobody's that damn busy, and it was a little bit of just didn't come together correctly. And what I'd like to do is definitely spend some quality time with y'all. I'm sure it'll be far too short, but let's get together and get to know each other a little bit better. And drink a beer, whatever.
I will drink a beer.
You will drink a beer. I'll drink a coffee. There you go.
Be a big part of it, man.
And whatever clips or stuff we do just for you and the audience, they're going on the main channel. So we'll be whatever interviews or live streaming we'll be doing will be on the main channel, Nerdrotic. So keep an eye out for that.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see you on June.
We're a month away.
So excited.
Can't wait. Hey, George, thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
I cannot thank you enough for the publicity and the interest in these subjects.
I truly love this stuff. It's the only reason that's why I do it. I don't usually do promotions or anything, but this is something I absolutely believe in. So I can't.
Thank you, brother. We're gonna go bathe in it in a month, man.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be a party. It's gonna be fun.
Take care.
Fellas.
Thank you
very much.
Burn out and see you
Cheers,
soon.
Bye.
See you, George Howard, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cosmic Tusk. Go subscribe to this channel.
That was great.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
We should have him back to talk more about that stuff.
Oh
yeah.
It was a great little rabbit hole.
Great
Good
presenter.
talker. See, that's the thing. Got to be a talker, man.
I don't know.
He's a talker.
He is definitely a talker.
I love it.
I love the
I love
accent too. I wasn't expecting that.
Good Southern
Camelot
accent.
vibes? Anyone else?
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
A
Little
Scientist Camelot.
Yeah.
Love you, Camelot.
So real quick, not real quick. We watched what was the name of that? It's Megaliths.
Forgotten Worlds.
Forgotten Worlds. So if you didn't watch it, it's a little dry, okay? But it's what I like. I think it's what Adam likes.
It's a little slow.
It's a little slow, but it's so
It's a little
packed.
slow, and then it's like
information.
It's dramatic.
Yeah.
It's
It is
very dramatic. I really like his opening. His opening speech.
A little
is-
overly dramatic, but
The opening
the
was cool.
beginning
It was
speech
cool.
was definitely dramatic. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love that opening speech. So bring it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Bring the but it's such a soothing. Like if you want to go to sleep at night, you listen to this, you'll be out like a light.
Like
You got some
Mahler
insomnia,
tier.
but
Like,
you'll get
it's
some
so soothing.
subliminal information. Karnak. We've got to
Dude,
go.
what
to
a
Karnak.
cool
Gotta go to
spot.
Karnak,
I want to
dude.
go.
Karnak,
Yeah,
France.
It's on the list.
It's on the list now because there are
I can
so
almost
many
see that,
megaliths
actually.
there.
Can you?
insane.
We'll send
No.
Adam.
I'm not
Live.
that close.
Do a little field trip.
You're definitely
Okay.
closer than all of us.
It's probably cheap to get to Karnak for me.
It would be. Yeah.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump over the
Yeah,
Albert
you
Pond.
can take a puddle jumper or something. But
Probably.
Karnak is this like I've known about it forever, but through this documentary, I don't think I had a good idea of how big it was.
Or how
Okay.
special it was.
Yeah,
It is, as far as like ratios and sacred geometry. You know, it's the location of Karnak means a lot more, according to the numbers, anyway. Yeah.
Yes. So, how many megaliths? Did we get a number?
See if I can find that number.
Uh,
A fucking lot.
When
A
you
ton.
Google Karnak, the photo of Karnak is just a megalith. It's got that many megaliths. Like that's
Yeah, so they're not like really well carved, but they're also insanely old. Some of them go into the ocean. They cover a huge swath of land, so much so that they had to build roads over it. Like that, and there's parts of it that they're still there. We just talked about it about a year ago. There's parts of it where they're dusting right now because it's too big to maintain. I'm not that I'm giving them any fuck. They should leave all of it alone. Fuck that. But there is a fight to save some of it. Most of it's fallen down, but it's hundreds, thousands.
So I
it's
did
thousands,
a quick
it's
search.
thousands.
Over 3,000
Yep.
menhirs, standing stones.
Wow.
and menhirs
Over
are
400.
the individual standing
Individual,
stones.
yeah.
Just throw up
So
a visual aid, Garrett. Some visual aids.
Yeah, the visual
And this is the place that we found out like 4 months ago. They like bulldozed a bunch of spots.
Yeah, that's what I
for
was
a
talking
mini
that's
about.
the
mall.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
They
Okay.
bulldozed
A
some spots
tragedy.
because they're a lot of the
Ridiculous.
stuff. Well, the biggest one is fallen down, and there's just little pieces everywhere. But the measurements on this are insane. Like I can't even fully get my head around it. But I tell you what, it wasn't a bunch of dudes in loincloths, barefoot,
No.
crapping in a
How
hole who
can they
don't
do
know what a
that?
wheel is.
Just going like, oh, let's just put this rock in a hole
put
and stand it
rock-
How do you
up.
align it like this?
no.
Nah, not at
And
all.
you do know that, especially in Easter Island, that is some of the scientific explanation for some of these megaliths are they were bored.
Come on.
Yeah,
man.
that's the stupidest friggin'
That's what I
response.
posted
what?
it today. It's
I-
like, yeah, I just stacked these rocks for no particular reason.
In
you know
this
what
particular shape with this
Right.
particular angle,
You know what a
pointing at
fucking
particular
hunter
way.
gatherer was bored because he was always hungry. He didn't know where he
Mhm.
was going to sleep. They were moving all the time. They weren't bored. They were probably scared
No.
to death most of the time. You know.
No,
and they're
this
like-
this proves an enlightened mind. Like this,
Yes.
the way, the amount of things that this correlates to, the circumference of the planet, the length of the nautical mile, the meter,
that was crazy.
everything.
the
the nautical mile
part.
Yeah,
I could understand that one, and
That
I'm
was
like,
cool.
Yeah.
what? What? Basically, math. They were aware of math measurements
to an
They-
extreme degree.
to an
though.
extreme degree.
Yeah.
not just
And
like,
over vast distances,
Mm-hmm.
they align these things.
And okay, so this right here, right? 3, 4, 5. Now, this is the ratio that everything about this documentary is based on, and more specifically, this triangle shape. And you can see the alignments in many, many ancient structures. In fact, I have this Hugh Newman book that Gary actually got. Was it from last Cosmic Summit that you got these? I think so, actually. I think this was last year, and I grabbed these. And I was
got
looking.
those from I went to 3.
Was it-
It was either
You went to
CPAC
3
or
it was
Contact
one of them.
Or, yeah.
or Contact in the Desert. It was either CPAC or I think it was CPAC.
So let me see if I could pull this up real quick. In one of the, oh man, I don't remember. I should have put a bookmark
Hugh
in here.
Newman.
Here it is.
Brilliant,
Okay,
by the way. Megalithomania.
give me a
You
full
need to
screen first.
Subscribe to that
Yeah.
channel. Absolutely brilliant guy.
Okay, come on. No, this way.
There you go.
All right. So here is DC. Okay.
Okay.
Washington DC, and you can actually see the triangle. You see the star
Within
right
it,
there.
yeah.
Okay, so the star, and then the triangle. Oh my god, it's so weird backwards. So starting at this point, going
Yeah.
all the way. Okay, I got to do it this way. So this triangle here,
Right. Yeah.
and all of. Oh no, wait, it's this one. It's all in this same spot, and then this actually lists all these different places that have that same. Here it is again. This is where is this one? This is the UK. This is Wales, actually. This is Wales. 3, 4, 5. You see it? It's all these same.
Is it Stonehenge at the very bottom? And then it connects up
Stonehenge,
to other megalithic
Arbor
sites.
Low, and Brine Selly Dew. I don't know, but Stonehenge is one of those points.
All a coincidence, guys. Total
not in the slightest
coincidence.
Oh man, so I went down this rabbit hole. I also watched this documentary twice because there's so much math involved.
Yeah, it's
and I probably could watch it a couple more times to really like lock it in because it was a lot to take in actually.
It's like I'm so dumb with math. It's like I'm unable to determine if it's like they're just aligning things the way that they want to get the number that they want to, but it happens so many times.
Yeah,
it's more than a coincidence.
That's why
it makes me feel like it's not a coincidence.
Obsessed in this subject, and what I do is I listen to the same lecture, or I'll listen to this 5 or 6 times. Like I'll just restart it. I'll go to sleep to it. I'll wake up. I'll listen to it in the morning while I'm having my morning coffee, while I'm driving. I'll always like re-listen to these things. I've listened to Graham's books. I can't even count. I've got all the badges on Audible. Like I've got all the badges.
Cool. That's great.
Because you get badges on Audible for how much you listen to. And you need it because I catch something new every single time. Right. It's like, and it's with this one, it's going to take a lot of extra time because it's not just like Randall's are dense, but this was nuts.
It's almost as confusing as the golden ratio when they were talking about that. Which
this
could
is
tie
almost
into
right
this.
next to it, because they talk about the King's Chamber and the meter and how it kind of correlates into the 3-4-5 ratio. I'll show you.
We're seeing repeated patterns.
They're good at math.
They're very good at math,
and also the whole correlation with frequencies as well, and how different octaves change different frequencies, and how those numbers correlate to that. Which is why I freaked out when I started listening to Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan. Because it's funny that he mentioned Terrence Howard, and I was like, that's why I said he's a fucking genius. Because like I had no idea he's on another level, guys. Like I already liked him as an actor. Like I enjoyed him as an actor, and it turns out
better roadie.
He didn't even want
roadie.
Superior roadie, but he doesn't want to act. That's not his thing. He was doing it for his mother. He talks about it a little bit, but he kind of was like, anyway, like let's get back to this freaking. The elements and the frequencies of nature and what the real meaning of the flower of life. The flower of life, right? How that ancient, it's the most ancient symbol that humans know. And he was talking about how it's what's wrong with it is that those ancient philosophers that found it viewed it from a world as flat. The world is built on straight lines and not in bubbles and curves and frequencies. And he actually has created this whole. I actually have it. Here is his website. Here, pull this up real quick. This is a visual representation of what he did with the Tree of Life, and it's actually really incredible. So this is his own website. He wrote a book on this stuff. Like this dude is on another level. And I just want to. Are you pulling it up? Yeah, check this out. So you can see it's got the flower of life on the bottom, but in the most opposite, it's what it reminded me of. It's like our conversation of 2D viewing an apple is just a circle, right? But if you see it in 3D, you see it as an apple. So Terrence Howard, I feel like he understands how to view 4D, like view the next perspective up. So we've seen the flower of life, but what it really is the negative space between spheres of different molecules trying to make different elements. And he talks about the frequencies of elements. Now, can you pull up that Walter Russell periodic table now?
Yes. Yeah. There, real quick.
So that Tree of Life, those elements, those different views, he has so many different versions of them. It's like here's one molecule, here's two molecules, here's three, and he goes through all these different ones. Now this is the true periodic table, right? He talks about how the periodic table is is wrong. The cube, you know, that's complete. It doesn't show the relationship between molecules. And the reason I bring this up, because watching that documentary with the 3, 4, 5 and the ratios that all these ancient megalithic sites are showing, and how it goes from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, and it goes through, when he's describing this periodic table and the relationship between all these different elements, and how the first element, hydrogen, right? That's the first one. We can't actually visualize or tell ones that are above it or below, because they're too dense. And if you up the octave or the frequency of each element, you get to another element, and they all have their own corresponding. I literally watched this for an hour and a half before the show today, and I was
Is there
just
any
like,
good point that I could
so
pull from
clued in.
that interview?
Oh my goodness!
Because it is
couldn't tell
a
you.
long interview.
It is it's all within the first hour and a half. I know that. Like the first hour, he dives straight on. You start watching, he's like, oh, he first starts talking about his kid and talking to his kid, and then how his son has some sort of like genius level, and then in fact he did also, and he felt like he talks that he was talking to his future self, and his future self was telling him to actually review the tree of life, or the circle of life, from a different perspective, like follow it with waves, because there is no such thing as straight lines in nature. Everything is waves. Everything is this give and take. And he brings up the E equals MC square, and how it only equates for one side of things, like the breathing out, the entropy of life, you know, the chaos, but it doesn't equate for the gaining, you know, the breathing in. It was really incredible, and I just see now. I'm gonna rewatch the documentary for the third time with this gained knowledge, viewing it through this frequency of the elements, and it makes me think that a lot of these ancient sites weren't just showing the nautical mile, weren't just showing the meter, we're actually showing a relationship between all things and the elements. And it makes me think of the Pyramid Code. This is an old documentary from Egypt, and it had what's
Anthony
Ben's
West?
friend's name? Yeah, Anthony West, but Ben's friend in Egypt, his father, all right, he was an old Egyptian historian who had, you know, it was when they passed knowledge down, really amazing. He talked, what's his name? I can't think of it, and
I'm forgetting.
I'm sorry,
I'll
Ben.
find it. I'll find it.
Ben told me like multiple times, and I'm like, oh, I know, because he knew exactly what I was talking about. And he talks about how a lot of these pyramids, the ones that you don't talk about, were actually based on frequencies, and that you would go in if you were feeling ill on certain parts of your body, and the priest would be like, oh, go lay in that one for a little while, because the frequency of that one will heal you in a certain way. And maybe it actually, you know, pushed certain elements into your body, because Terrence talks about why arsenic is actually bad for the human body. It's because the relationships between the different elements have like a positive and negative, and an interaction between the two, and they can actually change. He's saying like hydrogen can unravel, is the term that he used, into a different element. Look, I'll be honest, I feel like I'm doing a terrible job, because Terrence Howard
No.
It made me think.
Yusuf's
go ahead.
The sun. Yusuf's the sun, by the way, chat.
So we are all affected by electromagnetic waves. But there's those rooms in India, I forgot which place, where it's tuned for a certain frequency.
Yeah, those.
And when you said the
perfect
healing,
spheres.
and it was like, maybe that's what it was for.
Probably.
Who knows?
Abdel Hakim.
Yes.
Ayan.
Awas.
Awan.
Ayan. Yeah. That sounds right.
White. Hakim. No, there's a bunch of.
Wait. Copy paste it into private chat so I can give it a shot.
I will. It's Abdel Hakim Awan.
Abdel Hakim Hawan.
Yeah, I'm putting it in there right now.
I hear that he's no longer with us, and I'm really sad about it. Because he was amazing, and he was the best, hands down, the best part of the Pyramid Code. If you haven't watched it, get it. I want it on physical format. I need to.
You
get
can
that.
get it on physical
Abdel
format. I think.
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. You can get
Abdel
like a
Hakim
DVD.
Awan. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, God, Chad, if you have not watched that, it is like
Watch it. It's
baseline
amazing.
research for everything we're into, along with Velikovsky, John Anthony West, rest in peace, man. But it was it's amazing. And it was, God, that's 20 years old, dude. It's over 20 years old. I was just looking at the IMDb. It's 5 parts. Definitely watch it. The
Okay.
Pyramid Code.
Do you have his interview pulled up?
I got it. Yeah.
At 31 minutes, 18 seconds. Pull that up. There's it's where he's describing what he has done with the 3-dimensional version of this. Yeah. This is incredible.
So if you go to the
Are we going
far
to get
left-
tagged?
We'll need to pause it and talk about it
Like a lot.
a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
and tap on that. I took 4 of those triangles.
So is this on his website?
I don't know where this is. I tried looking for this. I couldn't find it. He told Jamie to pull something up, but he had sent Jamie a
Wow.
bunch of things.
And you
It looks like his website.
Oh, the 4D aspect. Okay.
Yeah,
just
so
scroll
he
around. This is
but
what
he
happens
explains
when
it
4
perfectly.
bubbles meet. This is the negative space where they can't touch each other.
You get it? The negative
Yeah.
space where and it's like
all
that
of the
little
waves, all the
space.
frequencies that are going around us, radio waves, all the different things. This is the
And that
negative
makes sense
space
to
in
me.
between.
What this drawing actually is then. It's representing that space between different elements. And he actually does this in IRL. He actually 3D prints all these things. And it's like a couple minutes from here. But let him explain a little more, because this blew me away.
This is hydrogen. And as I was saying, electricity
So that's
is always
one,
trying
hydrogen.
to get to the center of that triangle, but it gets pushed out. And now you see it has 4 contractive poles, which is the electric poles.
Do you ever
So
see when
for-
they put sand on a speaker and they play?
Oh, and then you see it
play-
move.
You can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the sound waves.
They
yeah.
actually did that with the Rings of Power.
They did. They did
opening
with
credit.
that.
Oh.
Cool.
That was better than-
Anyway, I think this image, not the Tree of Life. I think it has all the elements in it, but we just don't understand how to view them. And Terrence Howard is like the same thing that dude was mentioning earlier. About the guy with the thunder generator. He sees it all in his mind.
Malcolm?
Right? He can view. Yeah, Malcolm can see it. He's like a savant. Same with Tesla. He views it. The way Terrence Howard talks about this, you can see that he understands the fabric of life on a level that we just cannot comprehend. And I'm so fascinated by this interview. Like, this is another one of these things that I'm going to watch a couple times because I really want to understand what he's talking about. And I made the mistake of listening at 2 times speed at first. And I was like, whoa. I gotta.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit. Whoa. Just too much information. Like, hold on. I gotta start over and slow this down a little bit.
Christopher Dunn interview 2 times.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He
this
speaks
one,
real
no.
slow.
No.
But you can see Joe Rogan's face on this one, like, what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. The periodic he started moving on. He started
It comes out
talking
of
shit
left
about
field because it's Terrence
Yeah.
Howard. I don't think of Terrence Howard being like this brainy guy.
super genius.
you know?
Oh man. But on a level that is like, it fits what we're discussing anyway with this documentary about ancient civilizations. Like, I want to know what he thinks about this, because this is the oldest symbol known to man. This is all back to Sumerian tablets, like all the way back.
How much genius is lost because
Dude.
it just didn't go the academic route. Like, there was a dude in prison who was breaking down quarks to me. He knew fucking physics up and down. He's never seen the light of day, by the way. Super fucking genius.
Check this out.
What do you got?
This is the Sumerian tablet that they show in this documentary that shows the 345.
Yeah,
What does
yeah.
this look like? It looks like the same thing that Terrence Howard was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's that triangle. It's got
It's
that
a little
the
cut.
point.
Yeah.
345.
Dude, it all connected. I
Dude, that's weird.
ran to my wife and I was like, check out this
Okay,
connections, like all this stuff.
And also to point out, and this is something I found out relatively recently, the pyramids, the Great Pyramid has
Yes.
a line right down the middle, and it's inverted. It's inverted.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And it's the same exact
Just
ratio.
like this.
And they actually mentioned that in a chamber inside holds this ratio. It hasn't moved a millimeter
Find it.
in thousands of years. Like it's encased. It's so that this ratio will always remain in the very center, the core of this pyramid. Now, Christopher Dunn had a
chamber.
really interesting theory about, chemicals and maybe that being a power generator, but maybe maybe they're all connected anyway because of the way that the ratios. And Terrence Howard talks about how when you manipulate certain elements with other elements, they actually change, they unravel and turn into different elements. So maybe this is a secret of creating certain elements from other elements. I'm just flying on the edge of my seat, right now. I'm free thinking. Who knows? I could
Free
be completely
basing on
wrong.
math.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Just
Well, I look
huffing math,
forward to
dude.
I've had a wild day
I'm not
digging
bored
in this
at all,
hole.
Kat. The looking bored is just probably makes my resting face. I don't know.
That's how when you're thinking about stuff, you might look bored. You're just like
Pensive
trying to
is a good
process,
word.
like, bzzz.
well, people. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I'm always looking up at stuff, it's because I'm wearing like bifocals,
Yeah.
right? So
Ah.
I have to read
Oh,
stuff like this.
okay.
I saw a couple people asking about it. It's because I have bifocals because I'm fucking old. So they call them progressives now. They're fucking bifocals. Okay. They're fucking
My
bifocals.
favorite thing about this Terrence Howard interview so far is that he shits on Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Does he?
And it's so wonderful too
Good.
because he's watched Cosmos, and then Terrence Howard is like, I met him one time and I was really excited to bring him my research, bring him this, that he's like, I rebuilt Saturn based on math. And like Terrence Howard is like on this level and he brings it to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's like, hey, like, check out my stuff. And Neil deGrasse Tyson goes, oh, you cited those people, and just shits all over all the because, he's Neil deGrasse Tyson. And it's like, if you go against the narrative mainstream. So Terrence Howard is like looking at him like,
Oh,
I'm smarter than you. He didn't say that, but like I could tell that Terrence Howard was smarter than him, and knew. So basically, Terrence Howard wrote a book on Neil deGrasse Tyson's comments on his work, and it just like I'm like, now I need to read Terrence Howard's book. Like I need to read this
read
book.
that book.
Oh yeah, he's written a couple books now, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I need more of this guy in my life. He's really incredible.
God, I'm trying to find the video of Gary Nolan just fucking destroying Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was great.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pluto is a planet. Damn it.
Pluto is
Tell me,
absolutely
Neil.
a planet. It might be a tiny.
Yeah, be small. It's a little small planet.
I'm not a flat. What a flat Earth? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm flat.
Adam was just talking about how we were interpreting things wrong because they thought it was flat.
Yeah,
they were
and
using
that's
the
that's the
wrong
problem
mindset.
with a lot of
That's the problem.
foundations of science. Is because that people back then believe that the world was fat.
Let's see if it was on Twitter. God, if Twitter wants to get better, they need to really
Search.
A good, better
engine.
search function.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
my
I found
gosh,
it. I think it was-
please.
let me double check because this is so good.
Dude, if you didn't like or interact with it in any way, it's gone. If you
Right.
did
There it
like it, it's more than likely gone.
This is
If
it.
you're looking at it and you're about to like it, poof, gone.
Poof, it just
Oh, I know.
disappears. Dude,
yeah.
I hate that crap.
I hate that.
Play this. It's,
Okay.
I freaking love Gary Nolan. Like he's kind of based.
Gary Nolan.
He has no fucks to give when it comes to slamming people. So like I appreciate that.
Like, this was so good.
This is somebody with like so much cred. You
Right?
can't even
With a
argue
haircut
it.
like that, you don't give a fuck. You're like, whatever.
I got multi-billion-dollar
What kind
companies,
of
son.
brain is under this haircut?
I did this myself. I don't have
I did it
time to go to a
myself in my
barber.
mind.
I just cut a little bit and then forgot the.
I used a laser to do it. A laser I invented. All right.
Oh my
Neil
god.
deGrasse Tyson needs to grow up. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is jealous. You can publish that. He's acting more like an astrologer than an astronomer. He's acting more like a priest. Look at the people who are the most against it. They're actually not practicing scientists. They're opinion scientists. When's the last time any of these people have actually been anywhere near a laboratory or near a measurement device?
The signal we get from it is elongated, but it's probably a rubble pile stretched into that shape. Because you don't get that by nature. You don't get that.
Yeah, that's why it's man-made. Alien made.
You want that to be aliens. That's what, just fess up. You want that to be aliens.
Of course I want that to be aliens.
Okay.
These people should be forced to give back their PhDs. If you're not going to honor your oath of how you're going to address and approach data and openness to ideas, and you're going to use ridicule, you've lost.
If this were aliens in some kind of advanced ship, it would be maneuvering. Because a tennis ball would have that trajectory moving at that speed. That's all.
Is there any chance that's a tennis ball?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't our rockets go in a straight direction when they're going through space?
The whole point of Oumuamua was it sped up.
And changed trajectory.
Yeah.
And they couldn't explain how.
Are you saying
That's
it did
weird.
the thing that he said it didn't do?
And there was
Yes.
Nolan.
That's correct. It
Harvard
did do this.
Who put it out there saying like it wasn't just us. It was a Harvard physicist, help me in the chat. Some Ivy League guy from another country who works in some Ivy League university. He's the one who put it out there and said, yeah, maybe it's a solar sail. We don't know.
I'm gonna save this for later. I'm gonna pin that in our chat so we can always go
Thank
back
you.
to that just to listen.
Yeah. I love that. Pin that shit. Guys. They dug. They did it.
Wait, they did it?
Yes!
I didn't watch the episode
you
because I
didn't-
watched the documentary twice.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm sorry, Garrett. I didn't
All right,
mean
okay.
to.
No, spoil the hell.
No,
What happened?
This
What
is,
they
this
do?
is what we've been waiting for.
Thank you.
Oh,
Go.
all right.
Skinwalker, what they do?
Skinwalker Ranch. They dug. And not only did they dig, they found a cavity down there.
No
did.
way, really?
Yes,
For
they
real?
did.
Yep.
Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Were the
They
little
found,
alien
they
boys in
found a
there?
little cavity down there somewhere.
So
Like
the lidar was correct.
the
How did
lidar
Dragon
was
feel about it?
correct.
I know he
Uh-huh.
doesn't.
Well, someone got a metallic taste in their mouth, and they had to remove them from the farm immediately. They're like,
Yep.
Yeah. So
and he's like, "No, I feel fine. I feel fine. It's just like it just tastes a lot of metal
Like,
in my
no,
mouth." And
no.
they're like, "You need to leave now."
yeah.
Check your
And then-
head. It might be detached.
Same dude that had the bulb
Eric?
thing.
Yeah.
He started getting a metallic taste in
Yeah.
his mouth, and they're like, "You're out of here too. Get off the ranch." And then Taylor walks up and he's like, "Hey, can you touch this thing? It's electrified. The
Yep.
freaking drill became electrified
Had a half a
when it
volt.
was." And so they brought a freaking tester, and it was actually electrified from the
Uh-huh.
ground when it
Yeah.
was down in whatever hole
Something happened.
cavity that they were in.
What?
Oh, yeah. And then
Cool.
everyone, they vacated everyone. They're like, 2 people got sick, which is
Mhm.
apparently that is a symptom of too much electromagnetic radiation exposure.
Interesting.
So,
Thank you, Buster Nut Smash.
That kind of correlates with everything else. That like the GPS is going haywire. All of that
Yep.
stuff.
and that happened again too, because
That
they
happened again
they
as
shot a rocket straight into the
Two
sky.
rockets.
2
Or
rockets,
rockets,
sorry.
of course.
And then the GPS on the rocket showed it went into the
See, into
Both
the ground.
times. Both times.
Weird.
yeah.
Which is weird because normally data from the history of Skinwalker Ranch isn't repeatable, right? But they launched 2 rockets right after well, they launched one and they were like, well, GPS data, of course, is weird. Let's do another one just to see. Let's really focus on where the rocket goes. And they're like standing there and the rocket goes up and they look at the data and it showed the same thing going into the freaking mesa. And it's like 2 in a row?
The,
All
that's
right.
the most
It's
repeatable
not
thing that they've done
happened.
so far is the GPS.
True.
Yeah.
With the
tracking
rocket.
stuff with the
just
rocket-
messing
rockets,
up,
yeah.
but not the same
Mhm.
kind of similar
The exact same
pathway.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
how
so-
deep is it? So they take the drill, they drill
18
down.
feet, I think.
Oh, that's
Is that?
yeah.
that's
I
reachable.
could be.
And they got some
No,
samples of the soil.
I don't
or
remember.
Whatever's
I
there,
heard
too.
18 feet something.
Yeah.
That might not be where the cavity was, but they showed, they opened up like the drill case and they were like, this is where that stopped and now it's air. So
What if the show just stops airing? They just
they
they're
throw
like, oh, Skinwalker's canceled.
It's
No
like
more
out
episodes.
of range. They all fall in the hole, and
They just stop airing the
They're
show.
in a different dimension, and we'll continue the
Go
show
upside
somewhere
down.
else.
I tried to start watching
Yeah.
Out of Range again, and it's just I can't do it.
But
do it.
I'm just
Fucking-
proud that
it's
they
not very
actually dug in.
Dug a
'cause
hole.
They dug.
We're waiting.
And
Now-
they found the cavity.
Blow up the mesa. They got
Get down in
blow
that
up the
cavity, all
mesa.
right?
also on last
Tactical
episode they found that dead animal, right?
A
Right.
bird.
Well, they
Yep.
so they
Oh,
no the like
a
dog
beaver.
It was
like
canine. It was
so-
canine, for
the
sure.
canine something, right? Well, they had on this episode they had a vet analyze the jaw of this canine, whatever, and it didn't match any normal dog. And they were like, okay, what? Then he's like, well, this is an actual skull of a dire wolf, and it shows like there's this bulge.
So it's
A
called the
bulge underneath.
mandibular angle area. 'cause
Thank
we
you.
get the sides
We got
here.
X-ray here. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, genius. You're the X-ray girl. It makes sense.
Bone girl.
You're the bone girl, yeah. And so they compared the jawbone that they found of that canine like figure to the the jaw of an actual dire wolf. It was freaking like perfectly the same. And they were like, "Did we find a dire wolf, like a young dire wolf?"
I know, and, we're
And
all-
it
like,
really
last week
did
we're
look
all-
like it. And I was like, "This is
whatever. Bullshit. And then
that was
like,
a cool episode. I enjoyed that one a
I'm gonna
lot.
go watch
I
this
enjoyed it
after this,
too.
man.
It was much more entertaining than the last
Way
one,
better.
for sure, because there
Way
was just
better
a
than
lot
last
more
episode.
stuff.
Yeah,
And
it
we
was
got
cool.
what we've been waiting for 5 seasons.
How many
Mhm.
episodes are left in the season?
a lot.
No idea.
There's a lot.
We don't
right?
know. We don't know
don't
how
know.
I
many.
mean, we just now
the,
got
uh,
under the mesa.
This was what was it? Are you watching the behind the scenes? They have behind the
No.
scenes now too. They have like little half hour
No.
episodes
Oh,
where they,
what?
Where do
Yeah,
you
where
watch
they do an
that?
interview.
It's on history.
It's on you got to
History
watch
Channel.
it. It's on the History Plus thing.
Oh, do we have to like subscribe?
Yes, you have to subscribe to History.
You don't have to subscribe to watch the main episode,
No.
but I guess you do it for the extras.
So there's like a little extra half hour of an interview with like Travis Taylor and Brandon Fugel. But yeah, so I thought it was a good episode. And what is this? The third or fourth? I can't remember. It's fourth.
Fifth.
So
Fifth?
Fifth.
is it
Fifth?
fifth?
I thought it was the
Oh,
No,
we're
fifth.
good
it's
at
it's
this,
the
aren't we?
fourth, isn't it?
I thought
Oh,
it was
was
the
it?
fourth.
Dead
Was it
in
the
Water. Dead in the Water
I don't know.
is
I don't know.
3. So then
Okay,
this one
so
would be
it
Oh
was
yeah, yeah,
four.
fourth
So,
episode.
so
yeah.
I'm guessing, I mean, based on last year, 10 more episodes.
Okay. Yeah, the next one is supposed to come out May 21st.
Dig more, dig more.
Dig,
I don't
dig,
know.
dig.
I don't think they will do too intensive digging because I don't know if the guy who had the head thing with the head was close to the drill, but the guy who they hired with the drill, he was operating it the entire time,
Well,
so he was right where the
yeah.
opening was.
Getting
We
a
can hire
metallic
another one of those
taste in
guys.
your mouth. And they explained it in the show. There's multiple reasons you can get that. They're a gas releasing that they could have dug up. You got because we used to get that at the parts place I worked at in Escondido because we were right next to a couple of factories and it would just be bad. So it probably took years off my life, I'm guessing. So
I hope not.
but yeah, I hope not too.
Me too.
But if not, well, let's have fun.
Exciting.
Let's have fun. Hey, let's read some super dupers. Super
Sounds
duper
good.
dupers.
It was a good episode today. I really enjoyed this. It's like it was nice
This was-
talking to George.
Dude, George
He had
is
a bunch
awesome.
of awesome, cool stuff to talk about. And plus
George,
the
if you
Cosmic
happen
Summit.
to be watching still, please come back anytime.
Yeah,
Hell
you
yeah.
were awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, George.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait to talk to you in person. If you guys can make it to the Cosmic Summit, it's next month. We will be there. We will be there. Come up and say hi if
Yeah.
you're there.
If
We'll have a
not,
little
do the
table.
virtual pass.
Don't be shy. Like we want to meet you guys. Call us idiots. Call us
Come on
whatever.
over.
I mean, it'd be true.
We'll eat some mayonnaise sandwiches.
We'll eat some mayonnaise
No, that
sandwiches.
sounds so gross.
Okay,
Say
I've
it's
had
gross.
mayonnaise sandwiches.
Just
Legit.
mayo.
What's the point?
What's
Just
the
you're
point?
just eating bread?
When you have nothing else to eat, when you're in prison lockdown. I told you the
The
ketchup, packet
packets. Yeah.
story. All I had to eat was ketchup packets for 4 days.
That's
4 days.
horrifying.
Locked in a
lot.
cell with 6 other dudes during a lockdown after an escape. So that sucked.
Did you have to ration the ketchup packets?
No, I just kept my own. If you,
Oh, you're
somebody
like,
tried to
these are
take
mine,
them,
huh?
I'd have kicked the shit out of them. But,
Gary has ketchup packets.
What did they
No,
have? Did
they're
they
like
not have
all
ketchup
over-
we
packets?
had we all had like
Oh, you
we
had your
all
like own.
made
little
do.
corner?
Yeah, we played Uno for 4 days straight. That's all
God.
we had to do was Uno cards.
I
So we
bet
just played
3
Uno
Uno.
starts
ketchup
fights
packets.
though.
Now, do you +2 on a +2 to continue it? And can you +2 on a +4? Do you just plus the pluses, or do you?
Oh, that's when it
is
gets
what are the-
frustrating.
What are the
No.
house rules of a jail cell?
Yeah,
It's got to be
You jail
That
intense.
rules?
game- no, you keep that game going as long as possible so you have something to do.
Okay, anything goes basically. All right.
Anything
Okay,
else?
all right. Okay.
Well, not everything.
Oh,
I mean,
Wow.
maybe in some, maybe
Don't
in
say
some
that
places, but well,
Nice.
this was jail. It wasn't prison. For one, there's a big difference. El
Okay.
Cajon jail, the Big Escape in the late '80s. Go look it up. The contractor lied to the city of El Cajon, so they didn't reinforce the walls at all. It was just fucking stucco and drywall. So some guy pulled off the bar from below his bunk and just fucking bashed a hole in, and then they did the whole tying sheets. A couple guys busted their
Wow.
busted their legs. A couple guys got away, but not far. But they locked that shit down, and then they closed the jail. They closed it. They're like,
That's insane.
Wow.
it happened. And I was just waiting to go. Like, I was waiting to go to fire camp. So it was like it
Oh,
wasn't
it was like a processing.
processing center. And then I would go to Descanso, and then I went to Camp Repressa up in Julian, where they filmed Phantasm. They filmed Phantasm in Julian. That's where I did my fire camp thing. People in San Diego will know what I'm talking about. None of you, well,
Phantasm. Huh?
El Cajon used to be a lot of meth made in El Cajon back in the day. Zorbu is gifted 5 Nerdrotic Live memberships for $25. Thank you, Zorbu. Zorbu. Fat Man in what?
St. Louis.
Oh, St.
Oh,
Louis.
sorry. I thought you would be able to read that.
What with the lowercase L and no space? It looks like Sluis.
Lewis. Maybe that's what he meant. I don't know.
For $20 says, "Hail chat, the chat. Love this kind of content. Always fascinating. Stuff like this is why I love watching your content. Thank you. We love this subject, and you're going to get a lot more of this. I guess it's a good time to talk about I'm signing as soon as I get it. We're signing the Rumble deal. So this show is because
We're going to Rumble, baby.
we're going to Rumble because everything's getting demonetized. Like even the tamest episode we have is getting demonetized just on this subject, and I knew this would happen. It sucks. We can't. So we're gonna
It's
keep.
crazy.
We're gonna have clips here and videos here. So of this subject. So we're still gonna turn this into a Forbidden Frontier channel, and we will be able to clip from Rumble and put clips here, and then I can do additional videos. I'm waiting because we're gonna start doing videos like I do on Nerdrotic on this subject. I just need the
Cool.
right subject, and it does take a lot of time. But
Put me in, coach.
oh hell, dude!
Oh, and
I'm gonna use everybody. So everybody, because this is gonna be a lot of work. But yeah, we're gonna get a Nerdrotic Nooner that's exclusive to Rumble on Monday, and then Forbidden Frontier will be here or there on Rumble, and then and in the future, I'm gonna have to call it the Green Site or Bumbles or whatever, but I won't be able to say Rumble. YouTube is
They got the
definitely
AIs, man. They're watching
they're
us.
stamping down on it. But when I say the Green Site, like Jeremy from the Quartering does, that's what I mean. Also, bonus hour of FNT uncensored.
oh,
Bonus hour of
Uncensored
FNT.
FNT.
Just to be
Hey,
clear,
gonna be
the
wild.
audio only podcast is still going to be on all the audio platforms. So
Yeah.
if you search for Forbidden Frontier, you're still going to find those episodes.
Yep. They'll be out within 24 to 48 hours of when we do them live. But it will be on Rumble if you want to just watch us. It'll be there, and we thanks to Rumble for reaching out.
And thank you for watching our show.
And thank you for watching the show, and it will continue to grow. And again, the Cosmic Summit stuff and big interview, if we ever get Randall or Graham, that will probably go on the main channel. That we'll probably do those on on Nerdrotic as like a special.
Huge.
Just
Let's get it to happen.
It will. I believe it.
GJJ has gifted 5 Nerdrotic Live memberships for $25. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. B-Chain 315. 2 parts for $20 is part 1. I didn't need to read that, but I'm going full Biden these days on just reading everything. It's a shame that human hubris gets in the way of knowledge. The Dark Ages were called such by the Victorians because they viewed the time between themselves and the Roman Empire as backwards. There was actually a dark age, but okay. I have friends who think they're way smarter as a species, right? That we're way smarter as a species right now, which I don't think we are. I'll agree with you there. Yet they have no understanding of how their car works, how computers work. Are we really smarter than the people of the past? The answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. So whether you believe Malcolm Bendel's contraption works or not, what he is saying is the reason the subject got approached at all in that Joe Rogan interview with Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock is because they were talking about the ancient technology, how it was different. So every argument against Atlantis is where's the pottery, where's the plastic, where's the metal, where's this, where's that, and it's
got
like, well,
destroyed.
I don't know if you know the story of Atlantis.
Yes,
but it
do
got
you
destroyed.
get it?
if it was a different kind of technology that was way advanced, not in our advance. We think our advancement is the typical advancement. It might not be. Ours is done through a lot of, force leverage. What if they figured out a way that was far more harmonic with the planet? Far more harmonic with the planet. Because we're not
perfect harmony with the planet.
I'm no fucking
really.
hippie, but we're not like super harmonic with the planet.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
I think it goes beyond the planet, though. I think they understood the harmonics and frequencies of the universe, and that's what that tree of life is. Like you guys, you need to watch this Terrence Howard interview.
Oh,
just the first hour alone. I'm like an hour and a half in, and I want to watch the first hour again because it's so heavy mentally, but it's so incredible. And you know that was designed a long time ago by a group of humans that were smart enough to understand something greater than what we perceive. And he talks about perceptions and how we're so tied to what we can see and what we can touch, and it's like if we can't see it, then it must not be real. And that's kind of how the foundations happened. So Pythagoras, right? This whole documentary is about Pythagoras' theory and the triangles. Even he was wrong because he got those triangles from this tree of life, from that image. And what he did was he took points of the intersections of the circles, and that's how he created the triangles. And then you'd see that ratio everywhere. But so the ratio it exists, but they weren't triangles. It was just a bunch of circles. And because they did view the world as flat, that's how they were like, oh, well, it must be these straight lines. Mm-hmm. And then they created those straight lines and saw them everywhere else. But what they were really seeing was the ratios that exist in the elements and the frequencies. It all connected to me. And I'm like, my brain is still piecing all of them together, which is why I want to I'm going to watch one and then go back and watch the other and piece more together. My mind is still racing just thinking about it. It's so cool.
It's going to be fun.
Few months. I'll stop.
It's an exciting time, dude.
Let's get back to soups.
Coming up. I can't wait till we get to Peru. Peru's going to be.
I can't wait to watch it.
I'm training. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you guys.
Start my training
ready to go
when I get back from vacation. So, real quick, could you share AK Guy's tweet there? Gonna get a little political here. Sorry.
Oh man,
buddy Brandon Herrera. AK Guy, vote for him. Texas 23 is doing a rally tomorrow in my vicinity. So I'm going.
Nice.
I'm gonna be there.
Donut
tomorrow.
operator as well.
Donut
Matt
operator.
Gates, Brandon Herrera.
Eli, our boy Eli.
Eli's great.
Yeah,
Eli's
Matt
hilarious.
Getz is going to be there too, but like, no,
whatever.
Unsubscribed Podcast is going to be there.
I'm here for
Huge.
those dudes.
Yeah, yeah. So,
That's gonna be fun.
Going to support these guys. So yeah, it's tomorrow, and you can go follow them on Twitter. But it's at 2335 Northwest Military Highway, San Antone, 78231. So,
Dude, I hope Brandon kicks that guy's ass.
I
That
do
guy
too.
is such a friggin' rhino.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
The definition.
The very definition of it. Cecil Simulations for $2 says George is Dan Aykroyd. Surprise. You know, he does.
He
Camelot
like Dan
and Dan Aykroyd as a scientist.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't unsee that now.
You know, I bought some of Dan Aykroyd's vodka and just I think Melissa just drank it all.
Is that
I
the
think
crystal
it's-
skull?
Yeah, I
one?
wanted the skull. I just wanted the skull.
Oh,
Crystal
yeah,
Skull
cool.
vodka.
it's really cool.
I want to get Dan Aykroyd on the show. You should come over here talk.
Sure,
about stuff.
Dan. Come
talk
on.
about ghosts. and
X-ray girl,
the
make it
occult.
happen.
Yeah,
Hey,
X-ray.
Yeah,
I know
that'd be
we've
easy.
asked.
Get a
I've
hold of
tried
Dan Aykroyd.
I've tried
It's
the
easy.
publicist route, so I'm just gonna like, hey, chat, do us a solid. Tell Richard Dolan we want him on the show.
Mm,
If anybody's
okay.
ever in his chats or somebody knows the guy,
Tweet
we
at
want
him.
Richard Dolan on this show. I want the Dolan. He's great. He's great. He'd be. He's a great speaker. Knows what the fuck he's talking about. That's to me. That's up there with Randall and Graham. Is Richard Dolan. So, I tried, but you do it through the publisher, and it's like you're getting just blown off. So, I'll just put out a plea. That's all I'm gonna do. Blatant Bryant for $10 says, "Hey Gary, we met you at Cosmic Summit in 2023. George, last year's summit was incredible. Sorry, I didn't get this till later. We'll see you there this year. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing you, seeing the machine. I am too.
Yeah,
That was news that the machine is there, or a replica of it is going to be there. So
that's the stuff I'm skeptical of the science of it and if it's real, but it'd be great if it was. And I'd like to see a demonstration.
With my eyes, I need to see it.
Quantum Sledgehammer for $10. Gary, are you and the gang going to have a meetup in Dallas this year? I so enjoyed meeting everyone last year, hoping we can do it again. Don't believe I've heard you say yay or nay on the subject. I am not putting on a meetup. So Nerdrotic is not putting up a meetup. Now, is there going to be a meetup? I don't know if I can say yet.
And
I can say that
I haven't heard any announcements yet.
Other people have been working on it. That's what I can say. So we better hurry with the announcement.
It's coming up soon.
If not, then
I'm gonna be going to the con.
yeah,
at
we're
least,
going
so-
a day. So like I'll let you know. Like but yeah, I'm not putting it on, so I can't say.
Yeah, the city of Dallas told us we can't afford to lose any more bars.
We keep closing bars
Right.
down.
So
Yeah, we keep
Like
closing
cool
every-
bars too.
I know.
that
What
sucks.
the heck?
Gators and Farm and
Farm
Farm and Feed.
Yeah,
It's a bad name. Why did?
Yeah. But that was really cool place.
But it was a cool place.
it was. Hunter Becknell for $10. When Terrence Howard was talking about using frequencies to rearrange your DNA to heal someone, I immediately thought of Star Trek because that's basically what they do.
It is,
Great
dude.
show tonight.
That's what they
Thank you.
did
Yes.
that's what the pyramids did. That's what the guy was talking about. They
Yes.
use frequencies in the pyramids to heal you.
To heal
That's
you.
what it was doing. God, dude, it all fucking makes so much sense.
It's all connected, man.
So,
It's
but
all
that's
connected.
This Egyptian historian literally said that they had pyramids that had different frequencies that would vibrate through your body and heal you. And then the main pyramid, the biggest one, the one that everyone knows, the ratios are perfect for both these frequencies based on the elements that Terrence Howard's talking about and the frequencies based on this megalithic where you see it in everything. And it's like, shit, how did they understand that? They understood DNA on a fundamental level of what element it's made of to be able to heal it. That's how advanced they were.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Quick
Okay,
nature
sorry.
on the screen. It's all good, man. It's all,
Excited.
that's what you're here for.
I love
We
it.
love it.
I'm so hyped on this shit,
Quick
dude.
Nature for $5 says just watched the latest 2 episodes of Skinwalker Ranch earlier today. The Dead in the Water episode felt really off. I mean, why didn't they just pick up the whole supposed direwolf carcass? Is beyond me. Well, I that thing was
It's big.
Gross.
It was all
big,
bloated?
It was gross. It was bloated. Yeah.
I wouldn't
wouldn't
want
pick
to
that up.
either.
You think it would be interesting?
They
to
used the
examine.
stick.
I agree.
I would do the
I
same.
was expecting Travis Taylor to throw up right there because he's all.
Yeah, he was like,
The smell must be so bad, especially if it's waterlogged. So
Bukanawa is a traveler who just said, "Heyo, heyo."
Heyo.
Quantum Sledgehammer for $10. Quarter Black, I believe you have a birthday coming up next week because
yes, sir.
Heyo.
I think you and I share the same birthday, May 23rd, somewhat different years though.
yo, what's
Hype,
up, man?
hype.
There we go. Happy birthday.
Yeah, it's close to your birthday's close to my oldest birthday. So very close. B Chain 315 for $10. I love Pluto as well, but if we put it on par with the other 8, then so would Eris. Oh, as far as planet status, Eris, Sirius, Sedna, was it? How do it says,
I don't know. It's like make or make. I don't know.
Probably Makamake. It can't be make.
Bring them all in. Bring them all in.
Hundreds
man.
of other celestial bodies. Yeah. Oh, dude, there's so much fucking Planet 9 news recently. So basically it feels like the scientific community is like refocused on that because
warming up to it.
Well, because they found some gravitational anomalies, right? So they haven't found the planet. It's too dark. They can't even, it might be cold, but they're if you watch Anton Petrov, watch his latest video.
Yeah.
They talk about the moon possibly being warmer than the actual planet, and you might be able to find that, but there is definitely something out in the Kuiper belt that is affecting the rotation of Uranus and Neptune. But yeah,
emphasis on anus.
Yeah.
Anus.
Zorbu?
No, so there's something. It might be Zorba. No, there's something out there. We what Anton Petrov said is a possibly a planet or a primordial black hole.
Fuck, that close?
Uh-huh.
I don't like that.
No, I don't either. I don't
like
like that story at all.
Let's
Terrence
just hope
Howard
it's a
actually
planet.
talks about he has this crazy mind. He jumps around a lot, but he says that possibly the what is it? Not the Kuiper belt, the Taurid meteor group
Taurid
cluster, whatever.
Stream, yeah.
He thinks that it was a planet once. He's like, if you collect it all up, he thinks that it's about the same mass as Mars, and that it was a planet once, and that someone fucked it up.
Something fucked up our solar system pretty bad in the past. So
Maybe
we
it
don't
was
know
us.
what it is, and the giant asteroid belt that a lot of scientists don't think it was a planet, but I think it had to be.
Where'd it come from?
Yeah.
It just
It
like
makes sense
show up
that it
one
was a
day and be
planet.
like, "Hey, we're gonna hang
Well,
out
they say
here."
it's a planet that didn't finish forming. I think it's a planet that fucking blew up. And killed Mars. It blew up.
And
killed
he has
Mars.
a
Right,
reason.
'cause
He has
Mars
an
was like
explanation.
Earth.
I gotta watch it again, but he has an explanation on how it happened. But it was like, it was too much for me at that point. I was already swimming in different theories of things that was happening. So anyway,
Do we have the satellite going around Mars that's getting like high def pictures? It's fucking amazing. It's amazing.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
so cool.
Do we have like a Google Mars yet? Where we
Did you
can
see the crater that they found? The largest crater in the solar system that we know. All right. So they found the largest meteor crater ever. It's on Mars, and it's basically from San Diego to Florida. Like that's how big it is. It's
So
just basically
that probably
the
killed
States.
Mars. So it probably came from the planet that fucking blew up
Right. Yeah. Good point.
and killed Mars.
Uh-huh. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But they
the Hellas
they-
Basin?
They
Is that
have
what it is?
they have one picture of like a big dust plume, and it's basically an ice avalanche that they caught, which was I was just watching that this morning. Yeah, I watch planet shit when I'm bored, right? So and some of the they have high def pictures of the sand dunes. They just don't have high def pictures of areas we want to see. But someday maybe.
They're hiding them.
They're hiding them. B-Chain 315 for $10. Oh, I read that one.
You
already.
read? It was just in case you wanted to refer back to it.
I'm fine with the definition how it is now. With what Pluto's a planet. I don't give a shit what people say.
It's a planet, damn it.
I identify Pluto as a planet. Okay, So there. Moldy for $1 says science and technology and farming. What you mean? The guys in the loincloths? Garrett tweeted this out. It's like, hey, bro, I woke up this morning and I invented math and astrology and carving in relief. That's pretty much what scientists say. That
that's exactly how it
just
happened.
randomly
Total
did
sense.
it for fun.
Yeah.
No,
You know
math
what would be fun,
involved.
guys? Let's just put a bunch of stones up in circles in
Right.
perfect
Yeah.
geometry,
Rad, dude.
in
Let's
perfect
just spend
ratios.
difficult,
Our
bro.
precious
Alignment.
energy
Yes.
that we hunted
Yeah.
food for.
Just
on
coincidence.
this.
And
Perfect.
I'm gonna invent not only carving in relief but abstract art. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, we just do those things in between, gathering seeds and stuff from the berries out there and like hunting down elk and
things.
stuff.
watching our
We also-
children be eaten by a short-faced bear. You know, just normal day.
Traveling.
We invent
Day in
nomadic.
the
and
life.
stuff,
Day in the
Mhm.
life.
Abigor says the terminid
Terminids.
Terminids.
Yep.
Bugs.
Terminids.
seems to have swarmed in response to the Helldiver. Oh, it's a Helldiver
Mhm.
assault, much like a
You see
well-booted
Garrett's passion,
anthill.
obviously.
And now that anthill shall face annihilation. For democracy. Did I get that
Yes.
part right? Okay.
Yes.
thanks.
Yes. Yeah.
Josh Kelsey has dropped $20. Doesn't say anything. That's what Josh does. What's up, Josh?
What's up, Josh?
I have a confession to make.
Oh, go on.
I've been binging Yellowstone. I'm not proud.
Is
of
it good?
but
Is
It's
it
actually
good?
pretty good. Yeah. The only part I don't like is the Native American Hot 10 model who talks about who gets like busted for stealing because of her skin color. It's like, fuck no. And they actually fixed it later, but like her teaching scenes at the I think it's like the DEI moments in it. I fucking just fast forward through. Like, I don't like the character. I don't give a shit about her. And all the shit they teach in it is wrong, but it feels like they have to balance it.
Yeah, they're offsetting the whiteness of the main
fuck.
character. That's what it is.
But aside from that, really fucking good. Really,
Color
it's
theory.
really good. It's like The Godfather and Dallas. It's like The Godfather meets Dallas, and you know, a
okay,
soap opera. Yeah,
I can see this.
I like it. Well, it's not just Taylor Sheridan. It's the guy who did Jeremy's favorite show,
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. Yes.
That's a good show. That was good.
Yeah, it's well written.
I didn't watch it all, but
Well, it's got some like good shoot 'em up, and man, they fucking kill a lot of people. That John Dutton's got a body count, man.
yeah,
Fuck.
they really do, don't they?
They do. But man, there's like tits and ass in it and everything. So yeah, that's why I watch it.
Oh,
Uh,
why'd you have to leave at that moment, Adam?
Did he just leave?
Yeah, he just aired out.
I like the please stand
I'm
by
back.
thing though. That's good.
Hmm?
I think that's
Sorry.
really good. That comes up if you air out. It's like, please stand by. I'm having testicle
I'm here
issues.
still.
Nick the Greek,
That's,
$4.99.
that's not what happened. Anyway,
Gary, did you see Parasite the Gray? It's a sequel to Parasite the Maxim on Netflix. I tried to watch it, and I like fast-paced stuff. I like how the Japanese, in particular, like don't fuck around with a lot of. Well, they do in their anime, but like they're just faster paced, and some stuff is a little too fast paced. It's like, whoa, slow the fuck down. Yeah, I wasn't. I like Parasite the Maxim better. I do. Very good anime, by the way. Juan Castle for $9.99. This episode is tailor-made for Andreas the Decipher, the Mud Flood King. Gary, let's bring the boss man himself, Elon, to Forbidden one of these days. Sure. Pull your Tesla connections. Oh yeah.
sure.
I believe in you, Gary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got
just,
this.
you know,
I pull mine from
pull the some
SpaceX to make
strings.
it happen. Hey, go for it, Juan. But did you quit SpaceX without giving 2 weeks notice? Did you just walk out? Because I did.
oof.
I did. My philosophy on that, I don't know. If you're just a kid and you're just starting to work, don't do this. But if you're my age, you've been around and you're working for corporations,
Mhm.
fuck a 2-week notice.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. No way. Hell no. They don't give you 2-week notice to fire your ass. Why the fuck? You go find that job and you go, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. I'm quitting. When? Right now. Bye.
Yeah, I got a better offer. Make more
I'm
money.
out.
Peace.
Peace.
Have a good day. Halcyon for
I
$10.
owe you nothing.
No,
I owe you nothing.
don't. I gave you my time and work. I didn't fuck around when I was at work and everything. It's just now
It was
I'm
an even
done.
exchange, and
It was an
we're
even
done.
exchange. Yes.
Mhm.
Garrett, if I said you have beautiful Garrett, if I said you had a beautiful front hole, would you hold it against me? Halcyon for $10.
His mouth, right? You're talking about his mouth.
Your
Talking
nostrils,
about my
actually.
urethra?
One of his holes.
That's my
Well,
front
one
one.
hole.
That's my
Or
only other
maybe
front one.
like
Oh, are you
belly
talking below the
button?
waist, Garrett? Whoa.
belly button.
I'm just there's two in the. Well, I guess there's three if you count the nose.
You
One,
got.
two,
I mean,
three.
you got a couple holes.
what do you want me to
but,
hold
like,
against you, man? It's weird.
Halcyon, I think you need to be specific of what front hole you're talking
A
about.
lot
Maybe
of
not.
holes.
Maybe not.
Or not.
Within the TOS. Okay.
We're good. We're good.
Just need to know.
Believe in yourself for 20,000 Martian pesos. A random offering of dong, going for a chuckle or two.
Oh, that's the Vietnamese dong. Just letting you know.
Oh,
All right. Well, why don't you
Oh.
take that offering of dong and
I
then
was
the
like-
front hole, and you can
It's a lot
couple
of dong.
those
Wow.
together. You know?
Vietnamese pesos. So 20,000 dong.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of dong.
20,000
Wow.
dongs are coming at you. What do you do?
Garrett, hide your front hole.
Which one?
Just close them all.
Bruno Wervin, welcome to the traveler section. of
Welcome,
this
traveler.
channel. Welcome, traveler. Hunter Becknell for $10 says, Adam, before Terrence was on the Joe Rogan Experience, I saw a video of him talking about the same thing at Oxford. The person who put out the video had a lot of good visuals that helped me out. Yeah, there is another video.
I'll look for it.
Yeah, there is another video of
Oxford.
him breaking this down. I remember seeing it like a year
Honestly, it's worth an episode on its own, guys.
Really?
so.
The
Okay, do
more
you want- is it next episode?
I gotta watch more.
No, it's
Uh,
Mars next episode. Remember?
Oh, with Mike Barra?
Mars. Oh,
We got
Mike
Mike.
Barra.
Yes.
All right, that's
Oh,
fun.
Mike.
Oh, this is
What's
from
up, Mike?
6
But-
years
did
ago.
you see
When you watch the Terrence Howard interview, you're gonna understand though what
our
I'm my
Y-Files,
excitement.
who we love unconditionally, was a little back and forth with Patrick Bet David. I'm just going to
I
side
saw
with
that.
Y-Files. I side with Y-Files.
Oh, of course.
I did not
No, I
see
mean
this.
it's obvious. All right, so Patrick,
really obvious.
what the fuck is his name? Patrick something.
Patrick Bet David.
All right,
Who
so this dude
I don't
did
hate.
it.
I think he has an entertaining morning podcast. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, you know he has his moments, but like
Yeah.
Y-Files does great videos. We
Great
obviously
videos.
cite them all the time. I love them. We love them.
Love them, yeah.
And they put out a video about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, and it was fantastic. I actually messaged yesterday. I was like, "This is something we could talk about, like these ancient inventions that have been swept under the rug by governments or big oil or whatever." Because Y-Files did a great video on it, and 2 weeks later, like 4 days ago, this guy Patrick did his own video, basically the exact same shit with all the same kind of vibe.
Order.
Yeah, it was like a little too on the nose. And Y-Files was like, look, I get people use my information. Like, I don't mind when small channels do it, whatever. It's cool. But like millions of followers and you're a big, huge player and you like do the exact same thing of like, come on, man. He wasn't even being like, I'm pissed. I'm coming after him. He was just kind of like calling him out. In the nicest way possible, like how you would expect AJ or whoever's running the Y-Files to be, right? They're
Just
cool.
shout out.
Yeah, give him a shout out on the
unwritten rule. of
exactly.
YouTube. Cite your sources. Don't take people's work. Shout people out. Like even if I show a freaking meme and I don't have the @ on it, like correct me on it. Let me know. I'll put you at least in the description. That's my mistake. Like even the person who creates the meme, I try to find. Sometimes you can't, but like,
Right.
I try to hunt it down. Like
Yeah.
so even
Shout 'em out. Just go, hey,
paintings and
I
stuff,
watched
like,
this
put it in there.
Y-Files video. Sorry, Garrett, go on.
No, I was just backing you up. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched this Y-Files video and it made me think, and like he let me present it in my form, and I doubt they would have a single fucking that solves all the problems.
Right.
Just give them a little shout out. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Cite your
Little credit.
sources.
Yeah. What Y-Files did was they collated the work. They did the research. They put a lot of work into it. The stuff that's out there. There's a lot of individual stories on what the Y-Files did a video on, but they put it together in a package, and that gets the information to more people. So that's nothing but good. That's nothing but good. So just give them a little love. Okay. Because they're good. You know what? Patrick Bet David, which again, I don't have a problem with the guy personally, but
I did enjoy him shitting on Tim Pool though last week. Also, that was actually pretty funny.
I was thinking
that was pretty funny.
I was thinking.
I was laughing at that. I was like, hey, that's funny. I can't afford the time. You got to give me a private jet. It's like you can't. No, he said it's impossible for him. It's like, bro, you could just take a day off and go.
Y-Files already is a monster channel, but it's going to be a monster channel,
and they
massively
should be
huge, and
they absolutely should be.
Absolutely.
Give me my shoes. I can't wait to rock Wi-Fi shoes.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see them.
Bredica 6 for $1. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. GJJ is a member for 12 months. That's a year. Yeah, I did the math without X-Ray Girl. Look at
that. That's like almost
like
our
9 Inch
whole
Nails
show length, a year.
Yeah, it's huge. More than a year.
I cut myself.
Okay, calm down.
Became a member.
I'm doing 9 Inch Nails. Okay.
Oh.
That was so bad for 9 Inch Nails.
Thank you. You gotta love Trent Reznor, who used to be a little skinny goth boy,
you need to put way more like raspiness in that.
Dude, I'm not that fucking emo. Okay, I love 9 Inch Nails, by the way.
So do I. I know. You said it, and I was like,
Johnny Cash's version's better.
It's way better. Yeah.
It is really good.
I love 9 Inch Nails. I've seen him many times. I love him. But it was so funny seeing him at Coachella the first year he get muscled up. So you just have this image in your head of like little skinny Trent Reznor. He goes to Coachella and he's like fucking 250 pounds. He's got 17-inch guns behind his fucking his Casio looks like it's this big, and he's all, I hurt myself. It's just like Arnold Schwarzenegger sitting there. The visuals didn't line up, dude. At all.
I gotta close my eyes while I listen to this song.
Oh, it's so funny. But fucking no, great band. Toilet Bug for $10. Gary, tell Garrett I'm here for the gasoline. Hail the fellowship in Vegas, baby. That video that was going around, was he using super unleaded?
Oh, I see.
Or is it diesel?
Whatever it was,
wrong.
It was not being used properly. He was proud about it.
I'm okay then.
Cool.
I wish something to be proud about.
I wish less people were sharing that because it was.
I really do.
Oh, they shared it.
I love my Twitter timeline. It's so clean.
It's gross.
I was like, gross. God, I miss Dylan Mulvaney. I miss Republicans fucking retweeting Pearl fucking what's her fuck.
Oh, that bitch. Yeah, dude. I'm so tired of all those things that keep getting shared.
She's trolling all of you. Okay, I'm sure you know it, but she's trolling you. She's kind of smart.
Oh, she knows what she's doing.
Saying dumb stuff on
what
purpose.
She's doing. I mean, look at her. It's like, come on.
Damn.
Eric K for $2. Adam, only Mark can call X-Ray Girl the Bone Girl.
Sorry, Mark.
I mean, you can call me Skeleton Girl. I don't know.
Careful.
I don't know.
How about just X-Ray Girl?
I do know X-Ray, fine.
Eric K for some reason super chatted to say Gary is a grower.
Eric, what's going on with you? Did
Not
you
a
watch
shower.
the gasoline video?
He's a grower and a shower.
Do we need to do a wellness check on you? I just saw you. You looked great.
You need to get bonked.
Everything looked great. Yeah. Smooth the DJ is a traveler, also a Nerdrotic. What's up,
Smooth?
Yeah, what's up, Smooth?
Cheers, Smooth.
Great topic. Can't wait to hear you dive into it. Hail to the panel and the chat. Love y'all. We love you too, buddy.
Hope you enjoy.
Smooth. Go check out his Twitter if you can find. He's got a channel too.
Yeah.
Go see what happened to him and what he survived. He's a fucking stud. That's Smooth. Goji the King. The chart looks Gallifreyan. A little bit. Well, kinda. Yeah. You want to see Gallifreyan right there?
Yeah.
Right there. Somebody asked me if I'm going to remove my Doctor Who tattoos. It's like, no, I still love Doctor Who.
Yeah, you love the real Doctor Who. It's like people who love the real Star Wars. It's okay to love the real shit.
Matthew Hammond for $2. Does the Monday Nooner start this Monday? No, it starts in June. I gotta talk to Rumble because we want to give it like a month out, right? So I want to have a month lead time to like get everybody used to it and to assure everybody like nothing on the YouTube channel is changing. We are going to dual stream FNT, right? And the bonus hour will be on Rumble
on the green.
But we're only going to be on Rumble live for Forbidden Frontier.
Yeah,
for Forbidden Frontier.
Cool.
I did say something about like first hour on YouTube to move over there, which I'm open to. I got to get clarification on that, but I'm going to say it's on Rumble. It's going to be on Rumble.
Okay.
So
that's cool though.
Maybe we could do like an upload of it later at some point.
We'll be able to do clips and then direct people to Rumble, but I have to do it like in code because of fucking YouTube, but we'll work it out. Studio 22 podcast is a traveler, says Terrence Howard is the future. So glad you guys covered this. It's honestly mind-blowing and it will change everything. It is.
That's how I feel.
And it's good to hear. It was also good. He talked about Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little insight on that.
A little bit.
Yeah. Hey, that's what Marvel is. They don't give a shit if you're a black man. They don't. Which is the new white men in Hollywood, by the way. They don't give a shit if you're gay. They don't give a shit about any of that stuff. It's will you suck the corporate cock, and will you do you have the right politics?
And will you stick this in your arm?
Yeah, exactly.
And will you stick this in your
bonus hole?
How much was it that Terrence had said in the contract that the second movie he was supposed to make 18 million, and they came back with like 1? It was something like a drastic difference, and they were like, "Hey, you got to take this." And his publicist was like, or his agent was like, "Fuck you." Click.
Best thing that could have happened to Terrence Howard, because he is destined for way more than movies. Like that dude.
Yeah.
I think he's going to change the world. From what I'm hearing, I'm not even done with the interview. Like I'm gonna, as soon as we're done, I'm hitting play on it. Like I can't wait to get back to it.
Yeah. No, it was like the clips were going. It's the only thing so on Twitter. There's the only thing I like kind of subscribe to is all Joe Rogan clips.
Cool.
And that's all I check. But Joe Rogan he's fucking Johnny Carson. He's the best podcaster to ever live. He is the best interviewer. Joe Rogan is the king. And because he lets his fucking guests talk.
Facts. Yeah. It doesn't use them just for their notoriety.
Yep. That's what Art Bell did.
Yep.
Trekker T for $13.99 Canadian. Can't wait for my Wi-Fi shoes either. Also my FNT varsity jacket. Thank you for getting both.
Yes.
I'll speak for the Wi-Fi's there. Thank you for getting both. People fear me for $5. That's the name of the account. They don't fear me for $5. Okay. Although if do you want to be scared of me for $5?
It's $5.
Matthew Hammond says, when is the Gary and X-Ray Girl gaming square up? X-Ray Girl, we got to talk about that because it might be tomorrow. I don't know what your schedule looks like tomorrow though. So
we'll chat. Sounds good.
We'll chat about it. Psychotic Mongoose has been a member for 7 months. Thank you very much. Daneska for £5 proper money. Resurrect Tolkien and make him write a story about the Anunnaki and the whole worldwide civilization thing. Well, I mean, that is actually, I don't know how much Mesopotamian lore is actually mixed into a story, but it might be an echo of it from the lore that is from the Old Testament. So there's definitely Atlantis in there. Atlantis is in there. So maybe there's echoes of it already. Don't know. Logan Miller's been a member for 8 months. I fucking love this show. We do too. Thank you very much. Flav has been a member for 6 months. Glad to hear about the Rumble stuff. I despise YouTube's steals 30% for nada on the super chat when I pay for a premium and sub as well. It's unfortunate that I am really grateful to YouTube for all of this, right? 30% is a lot, could be worse. could be Twitch, but Rumble will be better. But honestly, I'm just grateful for all of it. Like it's fucking amazing. So, but
Especially
thank
you, travelers.
It's all you. It's all you. Thank you, YouTube, for the platform. And then all the time I had to learn to dodge, use certain language or use the clown horn or, certain things to make sure the videos get out there. Because the only video I will absolutely say was shadow banned like fucking crazy was our basically Hollywood, kind of like my version of a follow-up to Razorfist's much superior video. Hollywood Was Always Red, and it was the woke Hollywood Revolution, and it had John Cena as Xi Jinping on the
yeah,
and it was like on pace to be our most watched video, and then they just went boop and turned it off.
Yeah,
and you could see it. The line was like, and then it just does that, and it's like, wow, they did it. They did it. I would like to apologize to you for how many memes and funny vids I DM your Instagram account. It gets a little much sometimes. Haha. Oh, it's all right. It just goes to Mrs. Nerdrotic. So
yeah, she has to deal with it.
She has to deal with it. Ian, it's all good. No, keep it coming. It's all good. I met Terrence Howard in Philly while he was filming a movie called Dead Man Down. He was cool as fuck. Just came up to say hi, and I walked by, random as fuck. That's good to hear. It's good to hear he's real. He seems, he's not in that Hollywood bubble. He hasn't drank that Kool-Aid. What are you laughing at?
Garrett.
Is he being attacked by
He's
kids?
being attacked.
Zorbu
Get
paid him
him!
off.
Get him! Get him!
Use the sword.
Use the sword.
I'm glad they can't
Get him with the pointy end.
Oh, they got him good.
Whack him over the head. Whack him over the head. He deserves it. Little tribe there.
Man.
Toilet
Sneak
Butts
attack.
$5. That is too cute for this show.
Wholesome.
Very wholesome. Toilet Bug for $5. Wait, I'm here for the gasoline. Is the shirt I gave Garrett? Oh, Gary thinks I'm talking about the guy jerking off. Hail Vegas, baby. He was doing more than jerking off. Shirt? Toilet Bug. He was.
We don't have to dwell.
No,
we don't have to dwell on it.
Prosthetic head for £2 Great show. But Dunning-Kruger on the Scientific. But should we check out Dunning-Kruger?
Dunning-Kruger is the effect.
The smarter you are, the dumber you think you are. The dumber you are, the smarter you think you are.
When you start to learn something, you become really you think you're overcompetent in the field, and then you start to learn more, and then you become. I realize how much I don't know about the subject, and you slowly over time become more competent.
Yes. Well, there's
the
competence and exactly. Okay. I totally get that. Because that's like life. It's like, I got this figured out. No, I don't.
I chill way at the bottom most of the time,
I like to wave,
up and down.
Yeah. It's frequency.
It's frequency. I choose my battles through life. I'm like, there's certain things I just not going to get upset about, and I can choose that, and it works.
You're
for me.
happier for it too.
I'm way happier for it. It's just life's full of choices. Life's full of choices. Adam, thanks for hanging the whole show, brother. Really good show, by the way.
Yeah,
well done, my friend. What do you got coming up?
I love it. Well, I got my daily show. I'm doing my daily show again. It's a lot of fun. Base Half Monday, of course, tomorrow night with Garrett and the boys. It's a lot of fun. But I have a lot of guests coming on. It's pretty great. This week, I've got Epic Mike. He wasn't able to actually make it last week. And then I have some bitch I know who her name is Lauren, but she's freaking awesome.
She's great.
If you don't know who she is, she's amazing. And she, if you have ever crossed her, good luck to you.
She's funny.
She's great. Yeah. So she's going to be on the show.
Awesome.
Then Ryan Stone is going to join me on Thursday. He's one of my favorite Canadians. One of my favorite.
He's also cool.
He's a cool dude. Yeah. So we're going to be
cool Canadians. There are.
About it. Yeah, there's some cool Canadians.
I
know a lot of cool Canadians, actually. Mostly from British Columbia, the oil fields area. I met a lot of guys from there, and they were always really cool.
Nature. There's a lot of nature there. Maybe that helps.
Yeah. Being raised in nature, but love his stuff. This was. I'm gonna hit play.
Yeah.
Probably fall asleep to it.
There's so much stuff to cover now. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Quarter Black, what do you got coming up, man?
Tomorrow, base staff. Then right after that, I'm gonna try and wrap up my Fallout playthrough. Gonna get those super mutants, and then normal world Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with Dave Landau and friends. It's a lot of fun. Come hang out. That's it.
Oh, I'm going on a Saturday. I was like, I should jump on the show.
You
But
should. Anytime.
because I could just invite myself on a fucking Blaze show now.
Anytime. Anytime. There's a seat.
Yeah, I'll come up. Oh, and I'll just do this live. You guys don't mind in the chat, do you? So on our little vacation, we're gonna be going to Tombstone. I'll let you know. There's also another place.
Cool.
I'll let you know because I want to go to Robert E. Howard's house.
Oh, hell yeah.
Getting to go into Robert E. Howard. There's like a little museum at his house, and it's not far from Garrett. Pretty far from me, but
That's not far from me.
yeah. And we're still gonna do Forbidden Frontier, even though I'm on vacation. We're still doing Forbidden Frontier. Just so you know. Just so you know. I'm gonna try not to miss this show as much. So do the Friday Night Tights dedication, right? So I mean, fuck real BBC. No, I'm just kidding.
That show. Whatever.
Damn.
Ah.
I'm clipping that and sending it to Ez.
Oh,
It will be a good soundbite.
Dude. I got ratted out last night by one of y'all.
What? Not me.
Well, before I went on Flashcast, right when I went on, I'm like, dude, this Ralph Bakshi art like went up, and it's Gandalf like holding the ring.
Oh, for real?
I
and I'm
saw
like-
that.
Just bought that thing. Hey, somebody adds Melissa. Like, look at your husband bought little
Wow.
night shopping.
Dang. Dang.
You guys.
It wasn't me.
It's all
It
good.
wasn't me.
It's all good. Exodegu.
Ooh, I'm going to be playing a lot more of Ghosts of Tsushima tomorrow, so follow the channel. I do want to share this because there are a few limited spots left. So if you're interested in going there, there is our Peru trip that we're going on.
Yep.
Limited spots. So who knows? You get to hang out with us for a whole week and
In
Wonder
Peru.
Wolf and Nikki.
Yeah, it's pretty
Minaj.
rad.
So
I'm
yeah.
sad.
You can
The
watch
link is
me
in
be
the description.
winded. It's going to be so
Yeah.
much fun.
I've seen it. It's all right.
It's rough, you know?
Hopefully it's not as hot as how the UK,
The UK
was when we were
Lon-
there.
London was hot. Dude.
It was
yeah.
It was horrible.
Sweaty.
I don't know if they have AC here either, so we'll find out. I think that would be a fun video, but at the same time, I don't know if I'd want to let that video come out if we did do it.
Oh, it would come out. If we're going to do it, and I'm shooting it,
It's
Okay,
coming
Garrett,
out.
you
it's
me?
releasing. I'm working, okay? I'm doing my Stairmaster.
I gotta go, guys.
All right,
I'm gonna get out of here.
Oh,
Go-
and
go
bye,
pass out.
Adam.
I'm gonna bounce.
And there is
I'll see you next
Bye.
week.
just a few more supers. This Loki Aerith member for 13 says, "Fear the Crab Cat. Wait, wrong show. Love the show. Love you all. Keep it up. Thank you."
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Magnum Norris for $2. No Reiki reg roll.
No Reiki egg roll.
Okay, I won't. Reiki the egg roll.
I
Anyways,
like egg rolls. They're good.
Project Egg Roll.
Egg
Anyways,
roll. Is that
we
it?
like that egg roll. But yeah, cool. Cheers.
That's it. All right. Hey, fun show. And we'll be back next week, and our topic will be Mars,
The Red Planet.
the red planet with Mike Barrett. And not just like talking about Mars, we're talking about structures on Mars. It's one of his many like really good subjects that he's kind of an expert on, and goes way back. So can't wait for that. That'll be great. Our next show will be, well, my next show will be Real BBC on Tuesday.
Yes.
We're going to try to do a gaming square up tomorrow. If you're in the area, go to the Brandon. It's like a political thing, but I'll be there. You know, it's like an hour. It's like from 12 to 1. So check it out. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Hi.
Welcome, travelers, to the fringes of reality, where the strange and mysterious meet and the thin veil between fact and fiction is torn. Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.